What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, November 12th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. We have a giant show ahead of us. 5 NHL games that I'll break down with you guys. Then it's Darryl Rice joins us to break down this giant NBA card. I believe it's 11 games. I think it's 11 games. And then Nolly Knows makes his triumphant return. It's been too long since we've seen him. 4 best bets on today's college basketball slate. Then we rock the NCAA football slate. We got 2 games, one starring Cincinnati. That will be a fun breakdown. The other with Boise State after that giant win over Fresno State. They smashed Fresno State as 4-point dogs, beat them 40-14. And then we go into CFL. My Lions Stamps over 44 last week pushed, so I'm still just sitting on a 6-game winning streak and want to continue that. There are 2 spots on CFL here that I think, are maybe should be attacked, but it's just pretty simple and the market kind of trending in the other direction. So I thought, you know what, you're on a 6-game winning streak, don't bet it yet, talk it out. In NBA, I continue to fall apart. It's awful. Clippers don't take care of business, and clearly the under in the Raptors was a bad decision. And I didn't take the Raptors, which was my initial plan. And it's scary. It's scary happening, but it's happening, and it's awful. If the Dolphins didn't take care of business, I know I took a little heat in the chat. Remember Ninja, I think 561 was laughing at me. Bag saying Dolphins are nothing, laughing in my face. So that was a nice victory, and that helped. That helped a lot. So I have moved on one basketball game already. I did take the Kings first half, and I would have taken the Kings first quarter, but it wasn't available to me. As soon as it's available, I will move on. Osby says, stop doubting the Ducks. Mike M says, Puck Bunny cashed. You're damn right it cashed, and it was a thing of beauty. My 2 additions, if I hadn't added anything to my NHL card, it would have been a profitable day. But I added Edmonton, Boston under 6 and the Canucks plus 167. What a travesty the Canucks did. I'm 0 for 5 betting the Canucks, and I don't like the team. I don't know why I'm betting them anyways. And now that they're coming off a 7-1 loss, I have to bet them next game, which is fucking awful. Shout out to all you guys joining us. Friday, man. We've been battling all week long, And now we're at Friday. The sun is shining, and we want to have winners rolling in the weekend. Thank you guys so much for joining us. There's Sammy Culmer in the house. It's great cash. Great to catch that Dolphins play last night. Sammy was on it, and I was really nervous about it. I actually was almost, and I have to thank Mr. Alex Pavone, one of our stars of NFL Pub Up. I was almost not going to bet it. I was like, could I get a 9? I was waiting for a 9. I saw a couple books offering a 9. I was like, am I going to get offered a 9? And then at about 20 minutes to the game time, 17 minutes to the game, I was like, just take the 8.5. And so, we're really moving in the right direction. And I only have 5 other bets in NFL right now. And I'm sitting here, looking at my 3rd straight winning week and getting back to the black. And it's all things I need badly. So may not make any additions there. NCAA basketball, Maxwell Smart had another winning night. Great work. I went 2-2 tailing them with the spots that I wanted to attack. It is what it is. But I'm very excited to be here with you guys. So Sammy Culmer in the house. JM says, as a Bruins fan, took the Oilers in regulation quietly, had no doubt at all with Edmonton's sheer ability to create and convert chances. Yeah, no doubt about it. They're the real deal. Tony Based in the house. Good to see you back in action. TC says, Vermont got me yesterday. Yeah, Northern Iowa just looks like a bad basketball team at this point. Tori Coker, Brian Watson, Rem Mo says, stupid Blues. Look, I've made mistakes. I've not been on the Kings on this huge run, and I got called out on Twitter for what a terrible mistake that is. Okay. But I'm not as high on the Blues as everybody else. I think Colton Parayko is spectacular. And I think the Blues are a good hockey team, really good hockey team. But I thankfully didn't lose money on them. But I did lose money on the Islanders. 42 shots on goal with no goals. There's Danny Lopez in the house. R says Suns is low. I almost took Memphis, but I thought, I better just talk it out. Don't trust this shit. Talk it out. Jeff Shahadi ready to go. There's Schnizzle in the house. Viper NB. Red Girl. Great to see you, Red Girl. Nuke Worker says, happy Friday, everyone. Good luck with your plays today. $5 unit. Mark Schillingberg. J Rock in the house. Jimmy Gomez ready to rock and roll. Astute Chaos says, hit my only play last night. Miami Clippers first half over. Good work. Good work. There is Terry Walker. Guillermo Zertucci. Yes. Cheech, our man, Cheech Martinez, Lowbagger. And I meant to tweet that out again this morning. I'll tweet it afterwards. He's cashed now. He has hit the cash in the main event in the World Series of Poker. We are thinking about you, Cheech. Way to go, man. Detroit strong, baby. Making Michigan look good. Cheech. So Cheech running, and huge score for Cheech now. But final table. Let's get to the final table, Cheech. Want to see you on TV. Cheech, man. What a great, great story. Love the guy. Absolutely love the guy. J.A. in the house. Excuse me. Schnizzle. R. Mike M. Ready to go. J. Dub. Tori Coker said NHL was the worst. Excuse me. God damn. Lack of sleep is getting to me in little bunches. Dennis Garcia says, my line in that Miami game was Baltimore -3. Love to be so far off the market and be so right. Yeah, nice job. There's Puzzler, Mark Schillingberg, Williams Wrestling. That boy Cole back in action with us. H. said, I didn't like yesterday's NBA card. We got to get right to work. We got so much work to do here, so why don't we just get there? J.A., Purdue, Billikens, Suns, Knicks, Cavaliers, Warriors for J.A. Dennis Garcia says, Hamilton is the money line is the only game you need tonight. I think you are right. But I don't want to sit here and have two really short road favorites. So we know what ROI that delivers. But I think you're right. And we'll break that game down in the end. Christian Rivas. Too long, my man. Too long. Your complacency caused this in the house. Dat boy Cole says LA Kings under hit. I should have backed it. Lopsided consensus scared me off. Strange. There's Patrick. Great to see you. Patrick showed me a picture of his beautiful 2-year-old filly. Gorgeous. So trying to get a race ready, and that takes a lot of time and care and energy. And I follow Patrick now. If anybody else wants to follow him too, because I really enjoy getting to be a part of a journey, and then a journey with a young horse. And when we have a friend who's raising the young horse, we get to see it grow up and practice, and we just get.
What's the horse's name?
The horse's name is, she's a 2-year-old run happy filly. And I don't know Patrick, what is the horse's name? I just know that it's a 2-year-old run happy filly. She hasn't raced yet. So I don't know if they've put in the name yet. So it's at Little Do. Sorry, I should have just done the Little Do here. I don't know. They probably named it. It hasn't raced yet. She's gorgeous. So I'm going to pop this here. So if you guys want to follow, let me do this again.
Jimmy, you know how I feel about racehorses' names. That's the most important part of their horse. So
well, that's what makes you such a sharp capper, Jose. That's what makes you such a sharp capper. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say you're extremely sharp horse racing capper.
Oh, yeah. I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
All right. So there it is right there in the chat. At Little Do. All right, James Lill in the house says, should I take Texas on the money line today in NCAA basketball? Let's have our NCAA basketball experts answer those questions. We will talk about it. Okay, let's get to work here. Dav Fence said, this is my favorite aspect of your show. Openness, honesty, and friendships through ups and downs. I agree. That's what it all comes down to, right? That's what it all comes down to. Here... Speaking of, getting to go on a ride, I got the winner's circle photo from Timothy Murray that I got to be a part of here, and to my sister and I on the end, And watching Timothy Murray as a horse owner, he's been so successful at Woodbine. It's been so much fun. So much fun. And he just, sent me a message. Yes.
By the way, me and your sister, we're like this. We're pretty close now.
Stay the fuck away from her. Stay the fuck away from her. He had Gelato Amore running yesterday, and he thought it was going to get claimed, and it did. It had 14 claims in. 14 claims on Gelato Amore. It was a even money favorite yesterday at Woodbine in race 8, placed third. Emma Jane didn't ride him as per the instructions, but that happens. But yeah, man. So it's just really, really enjoyable. Definitely, exactly what you're talking about is this, and that's why Patrick sharing this beautiful Run Happy Philly with us, and getting to be in a winner's circle photo with Timothy Murray. I mean, it's just truly, truly extremely, extremely enjoyable. Slots 45 says the Canucks are so bad I can't touch them. Love the CFL in 3 plays. Tiger-Cats pick them, Stamps -2, and Owls +7.5. Look, I get that. I get those 3 looks, and those are the 3 looks that David Bastel's on as well, my friend. There's Cindy Plays Horses in the house. All right, serious business. Let's get serious right now. Thank you guys all so much for joining me. I would love to shout you all out, every single one of you. There's Kev Riley, Nate Dogg, Truth Teller, Ron Crawford. Spreadsheet play of the day is in. Let me get that in. Jose, if I miss any of the plays of the day that we want to take care of, let me know. There's my guy Fat Wally in the house. Spreadsheet play of the day is Carolina. And I'm not on Carolina. I have made 4 bets in NHL, but I haven't bet that. Jay Peasy says Oregon State -1, first bet in. Jay Peasy ready to work. There's Cab ready to work. All you guys. Oh, there's the name. Love a Happy Ending. That's the name of this 2-year-old filly. Love a Happy Ending. Well, thank you for taking us on this journey. Defin, you absolutely nailed it. We get to go through the World Series of Poker with Cheech Marinez, who is just such a great guy, always has our back, always supports us. We get to watch him. We get to watch, Patrick with this 2-year-old filly. We get to watch Timothy Murray have 14 claims on his horse, Gelato Amore, and be really happy and kind of had it all, was expecting it to get claimed. It adds so much. It adds so much to our lives. But winning is the most important. There's focus on your bets. Corey Simmons in the house. There's Kenny V. Kev Riley has got 4 games of props in the NHL. Well, let's get right to work. And there's Sammy J. Calmer in the house with his looks in the WTA because someone was asking about tennis. Corey Simmons, a hell of a capper, so keep an eye on what Corey Simmons is on. I'm going to copy and paste Corey Simmons NBA action. We will talk about that with Itster. Okay, this has been a little longer of an intro than I was hoping for. We got lots of work to do, so let's get to that work right now. But Daffin, you absolutely nailed it. And, there's the struggle of trying to cap all these games and also the record keeping. It used to be something that Loshak, complained about how much time it took. And keeping the records takes fucking hours, dude. It takes so fucking long to track everybody's records. And I'm getting a little bit of heat from my family for doing it. But it does make this show special. The first thing that makes this show special is the chat, is you guys in the chat. The second is the transparency and honesty. And everything that Defin just said. All right, enough about waxing poetic. Let's get right to work. We're going to start in NHL, the National Hockey League, coming off a 2 and 4 day, down 1.8 units. Oilers +125 cash. Islanders -1. Matt Paul says, "Can you track my records?" It's fucking killing me, dude. Islanders -1 at +117 was a loss. Red Wings +115 was a loss. Jets -1 was so easy. Fade the Sharks again next game. Fade them again. It's just going to, this road trip's just going to become tougher and tougher and tougher until they can get across the border and get back and get reinforcements. So that was very easy. I probably shouldn't have added those 2 spots here. And Slatsy says, the world can learn a lot about the diversity from this show. We learn so much from so many. The chat is second to none. God damn, that's beautifully put. Remo says, poor kids playing with pigeons while Jimmy busting his ass for your records. No. Although there are kids that pick up the pigeons in the playground, but we tell Ella not to. That's it's not sanitary. Birdie says this is a Saber spot in my opinion, but they're showing their lack of skill, so I'm staying off. Would not surprise me if Sabres won here. Jimmy, I'm learning to stay off. +25 units going to get on a run here. Let's break this game down and get to work. We have Oilers. But overall on the year, look, it's not been great. 40 and 42 +0.69 units. Average line plus 109, ROI plus 0.84%. Ron Crawford, spreadsheet play today, Wyoming plus 14. God, that's a very interesting look. Let's get that. So we have a second spreadsheet play of the day there. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us, Ron Crawford. So we will talk about that. Okay. And Jimmy Gomez, you should be tracking your own records also. How do you know what works, what teams are good fit, home court advantage, etc.? I agree completely. And Stasi says, please don't track my record from last week. Okay, all right, let's get to work. Let's get to work. And our man Jose on the ones and twos. By the way, we have given him the movie to review. We're trying to find movies to make him a better man. And he cashed on the Oilers with us, and he lost on the Canucks with us. But remember, I said this was the perfect spot for Vegas. And it actually would have been, right? You make two big bets on the Oilers and the Canucks money line. For me, two Canadian teams. And the Oilers cashes. The Canucks go down 4 or 5-1. You've already profited. You're already drunk. And then you become hilarious, shitting all over your hometown Canucks. And you drink the night away. All right, let's go. Oilers. Oh, the movie. So we want to make him a better man. This is movie number 4, right, Jose? Movie number 4.
I think we should wait till the end of the show to tell everyone the movie officially.
Okay.
But
all right, I'm down.
But there is a movie chosen.
Yes,
and it will be shown, and we will show the graphic at the end of the show as well.
Okay, cool. And the movies that you've reviewed so far is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah, Jim
Casino,
Candy. Yeah,
and Slapshot.
Yes. Yeah.
Those are the 3 movies. Make him a better man. All right, let's get to work here. We're at the KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. Oilers are 9-2-0, 3-1-0 on the road. Sabres 5-5-2, 4-1-1 at home. So, look, I get that this is a Sabres spot. But Dustin Tokarski is never going to get my cash, ever. And I told you guys, I said Craig Anderson's going to get hurt. He's too old to play this many games, and he's now dealing with an upper body injury. So the Sabres are going to start losing. And look, I don't want to take the Oilers here as a big favorite. There's Beach Boss. No way. Stop everything. Beach Boss is back in action. Holy shit. Simon says, Bet said, did Jose say Jim Candy? Yeah, he says Jim Candy just to piss me off. Okay. He does it just to piss me off. So don't worry about that. I pretended I didn't hear it. I'm Mally Mal in the house. Okay, so Stuart Skinner up against Dustin Tokarski, and I'm going to have to speed up. Actually, Jose, could you tell Darryl to 5 minutes, push him back 5 minutes till half past? Okay, let's go here. So, sorry, on NBA, my fault. Let's go over to NHL right now. So, we have these Oilers opening up at minus 170. They're now at minus 168. And look, that's a fishy number. I mean, you would think against the Sabres, they would be 200 favorites, in Buffalo. But they're coming off a very not a ton of emotion, but they're coming off playing a very good hockey team in the Boston. Well, I shouldn't even say that because they're not even that good anymore. But a very tough place to get wins. TD Garden in Boston. That's the best way to put it. This total opened up at minus 102 to the over. It's now at minus 113. It's at minus 120 at Bet365. I could have bet this over 6 at minus 105, but I was a little hesitant, and then I bet it at minus 110. So I'm on the over 6 at minus 110 here. Stuart Skinner against Dustin Tokarski. Watch the red light shine, baby. Edmonton power play 44.1%, penalty killing 88.2%, Buffalo power play 25%, penalty killing 87.5%. Dan Granado's done a hell of a job coaching this Sabres team. He deserves a lot of respect. Let's go over to the cash flow here before we break down this game a little bit more. But we have 1,387 tickets in. 83% of the tickets, 89% of the cash on Edmonton, and the market isn't moving towards them. Fishy. 74% of tickets on the over, and I agree on this over. I agree. Christopher Clementini says, I miss getting dizzy in Beach Boss's live streams. It's great to have Beach Boss back in action. Top Shelf plays in the house as well. Okay, so Oilers bounced back from losing the opening game of their road trip 4-2 in Detroit on Tuesday by defeating the Bruins 5-3 last night. This is a tough spot for them. Third game in 4 nights. Second half of a back-to-back after an emotional win over a tough team in Boston. Zach Kassian remains out of the lineup. Sabres have lost 5 straight. They're a rested group. They were last seen on Monday night, 5-3 loss at the Capitals. Don Granato doesn't expect Victor Olofsson back in the lineup. He's got a soft tissue injury. He's missed 4 straight games. As I said, Craig Anderson is not going to be an option through the weekend. You just can't play an old Craig Anderson that much. We knew it was going to happen. He was playing out of his mind. Will Butcher is back at practice. He missed Monday's game with an undisclosed injury. He was injured against Seattle on Thursday, missed Monday's game against the Capitals. He has 2 assists in 10 games. I'm pretty disappointed in Will Butcher's career. I believed in him. I thought it was a steal when the Avs picked him in the 5th round. I thought he was going to be a power play specialist on the Devils. And Casey Middlestad still doesn't have a timetable in place for his return to the lineup. So there you go. There it is. We have Danny Ace, does anyone like the Bulls, even though Vooch is out? We're going to have Darryl here in a second to talk all about that. Let's move on to the next spot. I'm on the over 6 at -110 in Oilers Sabres. Mally Mouse is Columbus, another team that hasn't played in like 5 or 6 days. I'm thinking under. I'm thinking the under as well, and I bet it. And I also bet the Blue Jackets, but we'll get there in a second. Next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern, Calgary Flames at Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm going back to the well with the Leafs here. Flames off of a 4-2 loss in Montreal last night. You know, I've never liked hockey more than in the late 80s. It was just my everything. It was the only thing I talked about, the only thing I thought about, the only thing I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to play hockey. And the 86 Stanley Cup final and the 89 Stanley Cup final, Calgary, Montreal, I mean, they're just so etched in my head. I can think of just the colors of the jersey. I just remember every single second of it. And there were such incredible hockey teams. And those Flames teams of the late 80s and the Oilers-Flames rivalries, I mean, it was just absolute magic. And I probably should have been on the Habs last night, but I stayed off the Flames, which is a good thing. Dan Vladar versus Jack Campbell. Vladar has looked okay, but this is going to be a tough spot for him. Leafs 8-5-1, but 6-2-1 at home. They eat at home. I got them on the -108, -1 line. So I got the money line at -170, the -1.5 at +150. So this is the total right now. Opened at 5.5, -122 to the over. It's now at -119. Let's go over to the the money line very quickly here. And we have the Leafs opening up at -154. They're now at -168 at Pinnacle, -180 at Bet365. So I did, beat that line by 10 cents, but I should have gone on this earlier. Flames power play at 23.8%, penalty killing at 82.9%. Look, I expect a bounce back game from them. And Daryl Sutter knows how special it is to play in Toronto, and he's going to have this team ready to go. I don't think it'll be enough, even if Johnny Tavares is not in the lineup. I was expecting him to be in the lineup in that Philadelphia game. He's day-to-day with a lower body injury. He could be back in the lineup. They at least have won 6 of 7. I'm on their team. I'm on their season win or point total under, but I like them at home, and I'm going to bet them at home, and I'm taking them here. Flames are on the second half of a back-to-back after losing their 4th in 5 games, 4-2 at Montreal last night. Brett Ritchie has been moved to the IR. That was a fight with Borowiecki. And look, Flames have toughness. They're not devoid of toughness. You got Lucic out there. You're going to have toughness. And Fat Wally says, please put Kentucky Fried Movie on the watch list. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste that right now. Kevin Riley on a player prop, Tage Thompson to score. Oh, that's an interesting look. Let me just get that here. We will get everybody to give in their movies in a second. Actually, not in a second, but when we tell the movie that I'm getting our guy Jose to watch. Okay, let's get back to this spot right here. Let's go over to the cash flow in this game. 1,349 tickets in, 51% of the tickets on the Leafs, 60% of the cash, 60% of the tickets on the over, 84% of the cash there. And I'm on the Leafs -1. Let's keep moving because we got a huge NHL card. Next up, we have the spreadsheet play of the day. Philadelphia Flyers at Carolina. Oh, wait, sorry. I just saw a note from Birdie. He said, I bet the under here. I'm not comfortable on the side for some reason, like the under 5.5, and it is a bet. I get it. All right, we get to the spreadsheet play of the day here from our man Ron Crawford. This is spreadsheet NHL play. He is on the Carolina Panthers. The taint play of the day is in as well. Bryant +9.5. We will discuss that when we talk NCAA basketball with Nolly Knows. Let me just make sure that I have this ready to go under NCAAB. Taint. Okay, taint is copied and pasted. It says taint in the rebound spot. There's Dan Kelly. in the house says the Fighting Secretaries. Okay, I'll copy and paste that right now as well. But let's wait for all the movie ideas here when we give out the movie that he's on, because we have a ton of work to do. And I need to be doing it. Here we go. Okay, copied and pasted. Okay, let's get back to the action here. Philadelphia Flyers 6-3-2, 3-1-1 on the road at Carolina Hurricanes, 10-1, 5-0 at home. We're at PNC Arena, Raleigh, North Carolina. Carter Hart going up against Frederick Anderson. Let's see what the market holds in this spot. Carolina opening up at -182. They're now -174. So a 8-cent move towards the Flyers. And from a total standpoint, we have this total open up at 5.5, and Pinnacle's moved it to 6. So if anybody wants that over 5.5, which I don't really know if I love, move on it now, because it will be 6 here as well. Brady says, I bet under 5.5 in Blue Jackets game. I'm stressing caution betting Blue Jackets off those 5 days of rest. Yeah, I get it. And Patrick Laine's hurt, and Max Domi's hurt. And I'm not expecting them to come out really fast, but we're going to get to that game next. Let's go to this one here. Philadelphia power play 18.8%, penalty killing 81.6%. Carolina power play at 25%, penalty killing at 86%. Frederick Anderson being so good this year, 939 save percentage. Carter Hart's being great. Flyers come in off their second loss in 3 games, 3-0 at home to the Leafs on Wednesday night. Ryan Ellis won't play tonight. Vigneault says he's very optimistic that Ellis will be able to play on Saturday versus Dallas. He's a big piece to this Flyers puzzle. 1 goal and 3 assists in 3 games prior to getting hurt. And Kevin Hayes is also going to be returning on Saturday. His brother died, another fentanyl death. And his brother is just a superstar in the Boston area. And so Ryan Ellis and Kevin Hayes are going to be returning on Saturday night against Dallas. And crucial notes for your handicapping, depending on how you think that will affect the hockey team. Hurricanes bounce back from their first loss of the season, winning 2-1 at Tampa on Wednesday night. Nito Niederreiter and Brett Pesce remain out. Brady says Blue Jackets have overachieved and they're on the break, fat and sassy. I do not think this is a fat and sassy group here because of the injuries. That's it. If I would be 100% with you if Laine wasn't out for the next 6 weeks, their leading scorer, and Domi hadn't been missing. And if you go over their roster right now, these are guys trying to make it in the NHL. So I get it. And Brady says, I would rather have the team on the back-to-back than the team on extended rest. Rest is a momentum killer. I truly think, and Remo says they do not lose on Saturday to Dallas. Yeah, it's a tricky thing. Okay, so let's move on. I'm off of Hurricanes. Flyers, I do not want to fade the Hurricanes at home. I think the Flyers are in a bounce spot. There's Pharrell Williams in the house. And Kev Riley is with our guy Ron Crawford there on the winning side, being Carolina. All right, let's move on to the next spot, 7 p.m. Eastern. Washington Capitals at Columbus Blue Jackets. We're a Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. Elvis Merzlikins has been absolutely incredible. 5-1-0, 1.98 goals against average, 940 save percentage. Ilya Samsonov will be between the pipes. Vanek Vanacek is hurt right now. That's why we saw the incredible debut last night of what's his name, Zach Furcali. I just remember him from juniors. So Washington power play 17%, penalty killing 81.1%. Columbus power play 21.4%, penalty killing 82.4%. Jackets are a rested group, as Birdie was saying. We last saw them sweep a home and home with the Avalanche on Wednesday and Saturday. This is their first game in 6 days. Max Domi still out with COVID. He's not coming back. And then Patrick Laine out with an oblique strain. And, 3 goals, 10 points in 9 games. Capitals are on the second half of a back-to-back here, and no Dowd, no Mantha, no Oshie, no Backstrom. So they're going to play tight. Oh, and Remo says Korpisalo confirmed for Columbus. Damn. I wanted Merzlikins. Very interesting. Birdie says, I'm rooting for you. I'm just stressing caution. I get that. And Nicholas Lee says, what's everybody's feeling in the 2 games on top of the Flyers game? I'll go over everything in a second because we want to get into NBA. But I doubled up here. I'm on the Blue Jackets at plus 115 and under 5.5 at minus 105. Let's see. Oh, and then look at that. Mike M's Puck Bunny play of the day is also on the Capitals under 5.5. Let's go over to the cash flow in this spot. This total, by the way, opened up at 5.5 minus 107 to the under. I saw Pinnacle had been moving towards the over, and I didn't let that scare me. Let's just see what it is right now at Bet 365. Right now, if I wanted that under 5.5 in the It's still at minus 105, so no change there. No change there. And quick look at the cash flow here in the Columbus spot. We have 1,210 tickets in. We have 44% of the tickets on the Capitals and 99% of the cash on the Capitals. So clearly a huge syndicate or high roller type bet on the Capitals. And then we have 34% tickets on the under, 79% cash on the under. I am on the under here, but I did cap that. And Epic Capper says, what up? Love the under 140 on the Richmond game so far. And Trusty says, thoughts on the Blue Jackets moneyline first period. Well, 6 days off is a long time off. You have Birdie already saying move with caution. The veteran team in the first period off of back-to-back is probably the spot here. But I truly think that this young Columbus team is going to be pumped up with Line A out of the lineup to see if they can pull this off without their star. So I tell you what, Justin, I wouldn't take the Blue Jackets, rested Blue Jackets team, but I'm taking them full game. All right, so let's move on to the final game, and then we'll do a quick review here. Final game on the card, Arizona Coyotes at Chicago Blackhawks, United Center, Chicago, Illinois. Look, I want to fade the Coyotes every chance I get, but I don't trust the Blackhawks. I don't trust them. I don't want to. It was minus 200. I could turn into a puck line, obviously, last night. Then it's minus 210. Remo says Corpusalo doesn't help the under, in my opinion. I agree. We want Merzlikins, but I still think that it's in play. Do you see the way the Capitals are playing right now? They're not playing a high fly. When you don't have Backstrom and Oshie and Mantha, you're missing 3 of your top 6 forwards. You're missing 3 players that would be on your number 1 power play unit. So, I mean, those would be the 3 guys on. I mean, I guess there's 6 guys really with Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, and Karlsson. But okay, so here we go. The 1,336 tickets in. 77% of the tickets on the Blackhawks. 97% of the cash. 79% of the tickets are on the over. 59% of the cash is on the over. I get all that. I can't trust the Coyotes to score. 9.7% power play, 63.4% penalty killing. Both Dennis Garcia and Brian Watson saying Chicago minus 225. I agree. Trusty says, okay, I was thinking similar with the rest, but with them being pumped up and everything, I thought they could start hot, but I'll do full game instead. Yeah, I would. I personally. Matt Paulins is also on Jackets. Brady bet the Blackhawks minus 1.5. I get it. Kevin Riley's on the Blue Jackets and the over 5.5. Chicago power play 20%, penalty killing 88.9%. The Coyotes followed up their first win of the season with a 5-2 loss to the Wild on Wednesday night. Schmaltz, Zingle, Galchenyuk all remain out of the lineup. There's 3 of their top 6 forwards with a team devoid of any offensive skill. Blackhawks coming off their second straight win, 3-2 at home to Pittsburgh on Wednesday night. Going to be hard for them to get up for this game. Henrik Borgstrom, left winger Brandon Hagel, right winger Mackenzie Entwistle, and left winger Tyler Johnson, left winger or center Tyler Johnson all remain out for the Blackhawks. So there you go. And Dennis Garcia says, give me Arizona, which is wild. Okay, so quick review of NHL action again. Coming off an off night, 2-4, down 1.8 units. We're up 0.69 units on the year. Look, that's not enough. I'm on the over 6 at minus 110 in Oilers Sabres. I'm on the Leafs minus 1 at minus 108. The spreadsheet play of the day is on the Carolina Hurricanes. The Puck Bunny play of the day is on the under 5.5 with me in Capitals Columbus, going heads up with Kev Riley on that spot. The Blue Jackets plus 115 is on my card, and that's my NHL for you guys. All right, let's move on to NBA with our man. It's Darryl. He is looking good on our show with a record of 7 wins, 6 losses, plus 0.42 units. He's an extremely thoughtful capper that I love working with. Please welcome to the show. It's Darryl in the house. What's happening, my man?
What's good with you, Jay? How you doing, baby?
I'm doing good, man. Look, NBA is weighing on my shoulders right now. I'm just getting and it's early, and but I do have limits. Whereas, when a few years ago there was no limits, I would just keep firing. I can't do that anymore. So I'd like to make a change right now, and I think you're just the man to guide this change for me. Are you ready to get to work, my man?
I don't know, man. I think we should stay in this pessimistic mode, right? And just maybe consider we're probably a second half capping team.
Okay, I can work with that.
For real, the thing is that I've noticed in the numbers that I'm looking at is that in my losses, they're not complete blowouts. It's always say 1 shot from, winning that angle, or, it's just not too far off to where it's an obvious loss. Now, I'm glad that I'm still in the black, right? I'm glad about that. But just ultimately looking at how this game is being, first off, it's being played a lot faster, right? And secondly, we're seeing that a lot of these lines are also very sharp, man. So I don't know what Vegas has got going on over there, but they seem to kind of hit the nail on the head with a lot of these games. So I'm happy personally that it's still the beginning of the season, like you said, right? I'm still happy that we're early. We're going on a month end. We've got a long season. So the fact, and this is just going out to my fellow cappers, if you're in the red right now, hey, just look at what where you're not seeing the board correctly, right? And then just kind of make those adjustments. And if you're in the black, man, more power to you. You are seeing the board very correctly right now. So as far as myself, I have just been off and on, man. I haven't really been that great, right? I haven't been GOAT status just yet. Either I'm 500, or in this case, I on last Friday, I said I was going to be reckless, and indeed I was, right? By chasing that indie game at the last second, and that wound up losing. So it was the first day that I was really on record in the red, but I'm still overall happy with how the season's going early in the year as far as my official picks.
Well put. Well put. I like the intro. It's time to get to work.
Let's get to work. Let's get to work now.
We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. New York Knicks at Charlotte Hornets. Knicks are 7-5, 5-1 on the road. Hornets 6-7, 2-2 at home. We're at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have now moved the pace to the last 5 games. I just wanted to wait till there was enough to switch it over from season to 5 games. So Knicks pace the last 5 games, 20th in the NBA, 97 possessions a game. Charlotte first, the fastest pace over the last 5 games, 104.42 possessions a game. Knicks opened up at -1 at Pinnacle. They're now -1.5. This total opened up at 225.5. It's now at 224. We have cash-wise in this spot, 4,236 tickets in. 26% of the tickets are on Charlotte and 44% of the cash. So bigger bets coming in on Charlotte, public on the Knicks. From a total standpoint, 33% of tickets are on the over and 47% of cash is on the over. So it's interesting that it's dropped 1.5 points. Let me just set a quick table and then hand it over to Darryl. Knicks coming off their second loss in 3 games, 112-100 at home versus the Bucks on Wednesday night. 4th loss in the last 6 games for the Knicks. They were down 21 points before beating the Bucks last Friday. Then they did it again. By the way, that was going to be the first time since at least 97-98 when that New York won a game which it trailed by at least 20 points. It was. And then on it, another comeback opportunity against the Bucks that didn't come to fruition. They would have had their second biggest comeback since 91-92. So they're giving themselves a ton to work with. Thibodeau also obviously not happy with it. He left Burks, Gibson, Rose quickly, and Obi Toppin in for the final 14 minutes of that game. Hornets waited until the final game of their 5-game road trip to register their first win, defeating Memphis 118-108 on Wednesday night. Charlotte opened 5-2. It was their best 7-game start since 2016-2017 before losing 5 straight. And 3 of those 5 losses were by margin. 3 of them were by 14 or more. And Oubre coming in off 37 points off the bench. Right. Here we go. Darryl, first game, take it away. Knicks, Hornets.
Yeah, so I looked at this game last night, and I was surprised, honestly, by the number. Now, we're talking, pace, and we're talking about how good Charlotte is. They're still in the top 3 with points per game. But if you look at their last few games, there has been kind of a regression, right? So Charlotte against Memphis, for whatever it's worth, Charlotte did win that game with Oubre going off for 37 points. They won 118-108. And that was with Ja, going off, I think putting up 32 points. He had 19 or so in the first quarter by himself. 118-108. Then you go to LA, which is obviously a game that's going to be high scoring. It was 123-106. The total for that overtime was 19 points. So they barely go over the over on the 226 if you take away the overtime. They went under on the 228. They went over on the Clippers, but they scored 106 points. They lost. They went over on Sacramento. Sacramento smacked the shit out of them, 110 to 140. So they scored 110 points. These recent games, besides the overtime game, and besides Oubre's 37-point performance, doesn't tell me anything about this team getting better points-wise. And so now you're going to play the Knicks. I believe wholeheartedly this game screams under. It screams under. 92 points versus Golden State, 110 points versus Cleveland. So what you're telling me is that you're going to allow New York Knicks to score over their point average, which I believe is 109. And they're going to score also more points and beat New York. I don't see that here. I don't see that at all. So I looked at the total. I know there's money coming in on the over, but that number is going down. I got it at 225.5 yesterday, and now I see it's at 224. This game screams under. Now, if you look at New York's, their own opponents, they allowed 112 points against Milwaukee, which was kind of crazy, right? But now look at what they've allowed their opponents. They allowed Philly 96 points. They allowed Cleveland 109 points, which is probably a better team, in my opinion, right now than Charlotte. So you're not going to have 103 points by Charlotte. They allowed 98 points by Milwaukee. They allowed 98 points by Indy, and they allowed 104 points by Toronto, which, again, in my opinion, I feel is a better team than Charlotte. So with that said, I don't think that Charlotte's going to reach their team total, and I honestly believe this is a game that screams under. It screams under. Now, something's going on with the Knicks right now. I don't know. I can't quite put my hand on it. Put my finger on it, rather. But this is a game, in my opinion, that should go under. I believe that total is way too high. Just head-to-head, these are their numbers. Head-to-head last year. Total numbers. 214, 208 under, 212 under, 209 under, 207 over. And you're giving me 225.5. So I do like that total number. I don't have a side here, but in my opinion, the Knicks should get this done. And if they get it done, then you have Charlotte not even hitting the century mark. So I do like the total under 225.5. That's where I got it. I believe it's at 224.5. What is the juice for 225?
Right now, we could get you a 224 at minus 108. If I wanted to move it, let's see here. If I wanted to move it at all, game total, I wanted to get to 225. 225 minus 125. 224.5 minus 120. I could probably pull up Pinnacle and see what their alternates. Pinnacle usually has better alternates.
They're gonna have a better line, but I got it last night, so 224 still seems like the right spot, considering. Well, I mean, New York just came off of an abysmal game, right? So I think they can bounce back and get it together. It's just surprising. I'm not surprised, rather, that line has moved down, even though there's money coming in on the over. So now we're getting into that sweet spot. 225, I liked 225.5. I definitely liked. Now we're at 224. Let's go.
I'm going to pull up FanDuel and a couple other sites, but sorry, keep going.
I would feel comfortable taking away another hook. I can go 224.5 if you've got that number.
Yes. I'm going to pull up Pinnacle's alternate lines to see if I can get less juice than what Bet365 is offering. At this point, Bet365 is offering minus 120. I imagine I can get better. You know what? Actually, maybe I could put Jose on that job.
Okay.
Jose, could you line shop for us at Pinnacle for the alternative line? What we get for 224.5 and even 225 if you could find that as an option.
Yeah, and I believe this is New York's fourth game in 5 days, right? So now we're talking about no legs. We're talking about travel. I know they've had quite a few games, maybe 6 or 4 and 6. I don't know. But I know they have played quite a few games here. If I look at it, they played on the 10th, the 8th, and the 7th. So that's 5 days, right? So this is a fourth game in 5 days. There's no legs there. No legs. So once again, you're talking about maybe a slow-paced game in the first half, and then again, Charlotte comes on these second half runs, right? And then makes a turnaround. So
exactly.
That's
I
4
can
and
give you
6
numbers
though,
for
right?
you.
The NBA won't. The NBA is not allowed to put you through.
4. They won't do that. My
four,
bad.
5.
4 and 6. Right.
Jose, what's the number?
So you got 225.5 plus 110, 225 plus 105, 224 and a half.
No, we're going
minus.
under.
Oh, we're going under. So sorry. So 225 is 117 minus 117, 224 and a half minus 111, and 224.
There you go. Now
I'll take the 6 cents. I'll take this because we're still under the 120. So give me the 225 under.
225. A great job. Thank you very much for that. And I'm gonna pull up the site, but thank you for that, Jose. That was very fast. Under 225 at minus 117. There you go. Darryl is on the board. I'm gonna have to spend a little bit more time on it if I wanted it at 224. Very quickly, we need to keep moving because we have such a big card. But your expectations of Kemba tonight.
I'm not a fan of Kemba, man. I'm really not. He reminds me of Fat Cat, the dude with the real big teeth. Always smiles with a toothpick in his mouth. So, no, man. I mean, he laid an egg while he was in Boston. He almost lost Boston's game against New York. No, just pass on Kemba. I mean, he's a key player, and I know he's very talented. He's a veteran in this league, but I'm just not a fan of Kemba.
Let's move on. We have Darryl on the board under 225 at minus 117 available at Pinnacle. Next up, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Milwaukee Bucks 6-6, 5-2 on the road at Boston Celtics 5-6, 1-3 at home. TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts, and we do have Alex Pavone in the house, who I was talking about off the top of the show. And he's one of our stars of the NFL Pub Hub. Great to see you. Great comedian in the New York area. Let's continue rolling. Dutch Boy Fresh here in the chat. Great to see you, Dutch.
What's good, baby?
I love it. All right. And Wesley Costas, I've watched the Knicks. Their starters are playing tentative right now. Something is wrong with Kemba. When the backups came in against the Bucks, there was a different energy. Dan Kelly says this Knicks bench is deep. And Wesley Costas, I'm thinking Kemba's playing hurt. He has that bulky knee. Let's move on. Oh, and over 12.5 points at plus money is what Dutch is looking at for. Where did I miss it? For who, Dutchy? Sorry, for Miles Bridges.
Yeah, that's a good look. That's a good look. I wish I was a lot better at props, Jimmy, because those are some really good looks on the prop end. It's just not something I'm very talented at.
Well, let's move on to what you are talented in, and that is breaking down games. Milwaukee Bucks 6-6, 5-2 on the road. We're at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Milwaukee's pace over the last 5 games, 17th at 98.50 possessions a game. Boston 25th in pace at 95.60 possessions a game. Milwaukee opening up as 1.5-point favorites. That's still where it stands. Will Hill's moved it to 2. This total sitting at 211.5. But Will Hill, did they really move it to 213? Let me just see that. That just seems wild that they would do that. And no, that doesn't make sense because it's still 211.5 everywhere else. So I think that is a stale line or a mistake there. We go over to the cash flow in this spot. We have 3,265 tickets in. 58% of the tickets and 85% of the cash is on the Bucks. 48% of tickets on the over. 63% of cash is on the over. The Bucks visited the White House on Monday, swept the road back-to-back Tuesday and Wednesday, defeating Philly 118-109, then the Knicks 112-100. Now they're playing their third game in 4 nights when they visit Boston. This is a really tough stretch, man.
Brutal.
Milwaukee let a 24-point lead slip away versus New York on Wednesday night, then gathered their shit together and took care of business. And Antetokounmpo, almost a triple-double, 15, 15, and 8. Yeah. Pat Connaughton, 23 points, 7 threes. Drew Holiday, 18 points. Bobby Portis, 17. Celtics coming up their third win in 4 games, 104-88 at home versus the Raptors on Wednesday night. Winning despite Jaylen Brown's absence. He's got a grade 1 right hamstring strain. Tatum went for 22 and 12 with 7 assists. Schroeder went for 20 points. 6 players scored in double figures. And it was the Celtics' first win at home in 4 tries. Marcus Smart called out the team's stars for lack of passing. And they look like they maybe are moving forward without Jaylen Brown on the floor. Take it away, Dale.
Yeah, this is the weirdest shit I've seen. Milwaukee put up 52%. They shot 52% from the three against New York, and they won. Their final score is 112. That is one of the lowest scores I've ever seen for a team who puts up 52% from the three. This game has Boston written all over it. They have the rest. Their defense has gone up. Milwaukee is tired. They essentially haven't had their starting five on the floor since they've started playing. This team is right now just not in a good contention to play against better teams. Whatever Marcus Smart said in that players-only meeting has definitely worked, Jimmy, like you alluded to. It has definitely worked. They are playing better defense. They are playing better ball just all around, and that's even without Jaylen Brown. This will be Jaylen Brown's third game out, right? This is Jaylen Brown's third game where he's not played. So I think a lot of people are going to jump on the Bucks because they like that number being so low and because they're just going to look at Jaylen Brown being gone. But if you dissect these teams, first off, that number is low for a reason. When these teams usually play, this is another team that goes in the 220s, 230s easily. Just look at their past matchups. This line at 211, I saw this last night at 214, I believe. No. This is a Boston game. This is a home dog that is going to come out and win this game outright. Give me Boston +2. That's what I like.
Look at that. Love the breakdown. Let me see if I can find a +2 up here. I do have Pinnacle up here now. They're at 1.5.
Now, Jimmy, can you do this? This might be really square, but are you counting each play as a unit?
Yes. Yeah,
can
I have
you
to do
play
that.
Okay.
No, we have to do full units because the ROI, everything's set up for 1 unit plays on my spreadsheets. So
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Give me Boston money line tonight.
Boston money line right now.
I've already played the +2, but I am going to play Boston money line also. So give me Boston money line here.
Let's fucking go, Darryl. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Balls to the wall here, brother, but yeah.
I'm going to line shop for you. I found a +105 at Bet365. It's +103 at Pinnacle. It says it's +107, but looks like a stale line. It says +110 at Will Hill. I'll check out that. I'm going to check FanDuel as well. Can you touch on Dan Kelly saying Udoka is in over his head? Do you agree with that idea on this new coach for the Celtics?
Not well. I can see Dan's point, right? And Dan is actually really fucking sharp.
Oh,
right.
Without a doubt, yeah.
I love this guy's analysis. He's so he's another guy to where I really pay attention to what he's saying. But what I do believe is you have coaching by committee there, right? And even though Brad Stevens isn't there, I do believe he gets advice from that committee. I do believe Brad still has his hand in the coaching. I do not believe, and there isn't anything that you can say to talk me off this, that Brad does not still help coach. I don't believe that at all. I don't. So in these cases here, where you got teams that are not in the same conference they're in the East, obviously, but they're not in the same conference. There isn't anything that you can tell me that they're going to let this rookie coach just drown. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. So here's another play that you should also look at also. I was interested in looking at Marcus Smart's threes for today because Marcus Smart, the last 2 recent games, and this is last year, but now you have no Jaylen Brown. Marcus Smart shot up 10 threes each game. So I would be curious to see if he's at 1.5 threes. I wouldn't be surprised if he hits that. But to Dan Kelly's point, I believe he is getting a lot of help. You're not going to leave a rookie coach out to sea without some type of life jacket. I don't believe Brad Stevens wants this team to fail. Obviously, he doesn't. He's a GM, and he's giving him the right counsel.
I like it. It is 1.5, but it's at -170 at this point. Just to
exactly. Okay, that makes sense. It's so funny. If you look at Marcus Smart, he hasn't been hitting threes. He's shot in 3, 4, and 6 in the last few games or so. He's not even remotely close to there. So yeah, for it to be juiced tells me this is a Boston game.
But let's roll on. We have Pistons Cavs next up. The Pistons money line loss I took a couple nights ago was absolutely heartbreaking. Pistons 2-8, 1-4 on the road. Cavs 7-5, 2-2 at home. Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, Cleveland, Ohio. Last 5 games pace for Detroit 19th at 97.30 possessions a game. Cleveland pace 26th, 95.50 possessions a game. Let's start with the market move here. Oh, sorry, that's FanDuel. I got too many sites up right now. Here we go. The market move has. Oh shit, I'm on Moneyline. Sorry about all this. Let's go, and we are here. Cleveland opening up as 5-point favorites. Pinnacle, Bodog, Bet365 have moved it to 4.5. This total opened up at 203. It's now at 201. Down to 201 or 200.5 at Bet365. Cash wise in this spot, we have 3,530 tickets in, 28% of the tickets on Pistons, 32% of the cash on the Pistons, then 43% of the tickets on the under, 51% of the cash on the under. Detroit snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 112-104 win at Houston on Wednesday night. Cunningham drafted first overall, 20 points finally, 8 of 18 shooting, started to look good, and we know he's going to have a great career. It's just coming in off the injury and just not hitting any threes in his head. No Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk going to be gone for 6 weeks. Isaiah Stewart going to be getting a lot of opportunities with Olynyk out. 7.4 points, 7.1 boards, 12 blocks. Cleveland had their 4-game winning streak snapped in 97-94 loss at home versus the Wizards on Wednesday. Mobley, 19.7 boards, looks so good. 15.3 points, 7.9 boards a game. It was a heartbreaking loss. So no Colin Sexton. He's out indefinitely after tearing cartilage in his left knee. Garland and Rubio being asked to carry the load. Rubio missing that foul shot made me want to test if I could fly off of this balcony. Isaac Okoro returned after missing 7 games with a strained left hamstring. He didn't look very good. 2 points in 28 minutes. We can expect more from him moving forward. Let's go. Pistons, Cavs, take it away.
Yeah, so obviously what has been working is the Cleveland first quarter ATS, right? We've been going to the well a lot with that. Now, they've been striking out. They lost to Portland, and that was by a bucket. I believe they were down 3. And then their next game, they had lost to Washington, which was another close one. Cleveland first quarter spreads, I think, is going to make a lot of money here moving forward in the season. And it was funny to see how this team plays without Colin Sexton. Darius Garland is that brother, man. The bro is nice. He's nice. But I wanted to get to the window with Cleveland, but I just couldn't, only because Detroit is in the top 3 with opponents' points allowed in the first quarter. So I wanted to look at that team total also first quarter for Cleveland. They're averaging 26.7, and this one is right at 26.5 with Detroit at 24.5. So I just couldn't get there. This is a lean for me, and that is just to see if this number goes down because it is extremely low. It is extremely low for it to be at 201. But that point total in the first quarter is extremely high. So I think the books have adjusted. I don't have a play for this just now. I do like what I'm seeing out of Jarrett Allen. I do love what I'm seeing out of Mobley. For what it's worth, this team is going to be all right. Rubio is doing fine. Detroit, they're just dogs, man. They're just dogs. So if you like Detroit, I would take – I just can't lay 5 points with Cleveland with how they break down in the second half. I can't do it. So if Cleveland doesn't hit the first quarter or the first quarter spread or the total, they usually bounce back second quarter. So a lean would also be the first quarter team total for Cleveland and also Cleveland first half. This is one of those games that can get out of hand for Cleveland because Detroit will fight. So for right now, no play.
That team total, by the way, the Rubio assist prop, which was asked about here from Nicholas Lee. It's not on the board for some reason for me. The team total for the Cavs in my book is 26.5 first quarter. That's heavily juiced to the under, minus 130 towards the under. Yeah. And, when I didn't cash with the Cavs, Ski Profit cashed with the Cavs first half. He knew how to bet them.
Well, it's Ski.
Yeah.
It's fucking Ski.
All right, so no move for Darryl in Pistons Cavs. Let's keep rolling. Next up, Portland Trailblazers at Houston Rockets. Blazers Rockets. This total opened up at 223.5. It's now at 222.5. Portland opening up at -6. There are 6.5s on the board now. From a cash flow perspective, we have 3,001 tickets in. 73% of the tickets are on the Blazers. We don't know the cash at this point. I don't know why that is, but 52% of tickets on the over, 94% of cash on the over. And that was my immediate thought, was the over. And I didn't move on it just because I don't trust myself right now.
Yeah.
And then I watch it drop a point. Portland paced last 5 games, 15th at 98.6 possessions a game. Houston paced 4th at 102.40 possessions a game. Portland comes in off their second straight loss to begin this road trip, 119-109 at Phoenix on Wednesday. Portland surrendered 60 points in the paint on 52.1% shooting. One night earlier, the Clippers shot 51.8% against them.
Mm-hmm.
Rockets coming off their 9th straight loss, 112-104 at home versus Pistons on Wednesday. Last in the NBA in turnovers at 19.5. They're playing sloppy, but they're playing with energy. Take it away, Darryl. Portland, Houston.
First off, why was that game on primetime, bro? I didn't understand why they put Detroit. That should have been a league pass game easily. There were better games on than Detroit and Houston. But at the same token, you're starting to see Green coming to his own, right? You're really starting to see Jalen starting to get a little more comfortable each game that goes by. And I mean, the kid's 19 years old, man. He's playing fearless. So for what it's worth, I didn't have a play on this game either because you've got the teams playing at their worst here. Portland is terrible on the road. They're terrible on the road. And Houston is terrible at home. They're terrible at home. They're still just a bad team. But Portland is what? 0-6? 0-6 on the road. And Houston is 1-3 at home. Now, for what it's worth, Houston's also 0-7 on the road. So this isn't a game to where I believe I wanted to give Portland 6.5 points, even though, honestly, they should cover this game. It's just that when you're at your worst, no, man, I don't want any parts of that. I did look at a prop. I couldn't find a number on it, so I wanted to see if you could. Do you know who averages better threes than Dame on that team? CJ and Norman. I didn't want to, right? Do you know who has less attempts than Dame at the three but has a better average? CJ and Norman, right?
Course,
so
yeah.
Dame puts up about 10 threes a game, right? He's making about 2.42, I believe. I've seen some team rankings. CJ's putting up less numbers, less threes, and he's making 3.2 or 3.3. The move would be here, because it is the damn Rockets, is to look at CJ's 3 points, and if he's at anywhere between 1.5 or 2.5, I would jump on that prop.
Well, the advanced models know what your plans are and are fighting against it. It's at 3.5. The over's at plus 145. The under's at minus 175. They're trying to put it at a number where they can't lose.
Yeah. So you just have to stay off it at that point. I mean, I don't see why CJ couldn't go out there and make 4 threes, but at this point he would have to make more attempts. So, yeah, once again, and we have Norman not even playing this game, I believe, right? So this is another game. I know he's either questionable or he's out already.
All right, let me. I meant to have all of those moves up because I was going over them in the morning, and So I'll pull that up here. Let's see if it's just here on this sheet.
Norman
Powell.
He's gone. I believe.
Day. I got day here. I'll pull up Roto World and see if I can get exact. I meant to have that up.
That's so funny that they would put 3.5 and make it juiced, right? Because they're already giving you what his average is at 3.3. I mean, damn, I still don't see why he doesn't get that. But when you're playing a plus 75 at 3.5, it's wow. So I'm passing on this game. This isn't a game I want to play at all. I mean, Portland's a fucking joke on the road, and this is a game that Houston could probably just get in. I mean, my number with this game already was Portland winning this game by 9, but I don't agree with that number. So I'm cool on this game.
All right, we will move on. The last notes, he's questionable right now with the quad injury. Stormin Norman. Yeah, it says if he sits Friday, Ben McLemore and Tony Snell could get some extended run, which means you probably don't want to be on the over at that point. That's Portland, Houston. So no clarity for me whether I'm going to move on the over.
I don't trust that total.
Yeah.
Trot Ram, what's good, baby?
Yeah, Charles Lamb, great guy, great capper. All right, let's move on. Phoenix Suns at Memphis Grizzlies. Can't wait to talk about this game. Suns 7-3, 2-1 on the road. Grizzlies 6-5, 4-2 at home. We're at FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. Phoenix third in pace over the last 5 games, 102.90 possessions a game. Memphis 14th at 99.13 possessions a game. Dan Kelly says, I got a friend who thinks that Dame maybe only subconsciously wants to be traded, and that is why he is playing so poorly. There's Brian Pacone.
Really?
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of wild. I mean, he's kind of up and down. I mean, I lived in Portland for a few years. Dame runs Portland, bro. Bottom line, I'll tell you right now, he's like the mayor. He's like the unofficial mayor of Portland.
Yeah, that should have been Brandon Roy, man. That should have been Brandon Roy. Fuck, that should have been him. Should have been him. And I can't even watch the Washington Huskies play anymore. I just keep seeing Nate Robinson and Brandon Roy in my head, and I just turn it off. I will not watch any Huskies basketball anymore. Okay, let's go to work right now. We have, let's pull up the odds page and the cash here. This is a fascinating game. Let's break it down. We have Phoenix opening up as -1 point favorites. They move to -2. This total hanging out around 222.5 or 223. We have 2,269 tickets, 89% of the tickets, 99% of cash on the Suns. I want to bet against this. I want the Grizzlies, but I need to talk it out with you guys. 33% of tickets on the under, 91% of cash on the under. And I know what's going on with me. We'll start with Phoenix first. Coming off their 6th straight win, 119-109 at home versus Portland on Wednesday. JaVale McGee stepping up. And then Frank Kaminsky. I mean, look, he comes off 31 points. I find it very difficult to believe that he's going to be able to do that again. Ayton is considered doubtful for the Memphis game, but he's, his x-rays were negative. He won't be out for very long. Grizzlies coming up their 2nd loss in 3 games, 118-108 at home for Charlotte. Dylan Brooks is back. So that's
Are you sure?
Why, he went for 26 minutes off the bench against the Hornets, 8-17 for 20 points. He's going to be stuck on Booker. It's going to be Brooks on Booker, and that I love Brooks. I'm a Dylan Brooks guy. So we have the Suns offense is averaging 111 points a game against the Grizzlies defense that's been atrocious, but it won't stay atrocious. I mean, I know it's going to be worse, with in the paint with the changes they've made. But if Dylan Brooks is back, they can get rolling. So the last time Memphis played the Suns, Brooks held Booker to 5 for 21 shooting. 5 for 21 shooting, and he's out this game. Brooks is back, but not playing tonight. Load management. Thank you, Mark.
That's what I thought.
Okay, playing, but not back, but not playing tonight with load management. Okay, that is a huge piece of the puzzle. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Trotwam. All right, so let's move on to the breakdown here from our man, Darryl. Suns, Grizzlies, take it away.
Phoenix is quietly under the radar. They are quietly under the radar right now. I think the scouting reports right now are just kind of like the MJ reports, and that is let Ja get his game off and then stop everybody else. Right now, that's huge news if Brooks isn't playing, because now you've got Booker who's going to go off. Chris Paul is going to go off. For whatever it's worth, Desmond Bane has kind of taken a little regression. He does better with Ja off the court, obviously. And so it looks like you don't have to expect much out of Desmond Bane as far as scoring-wise. So this one here, I looked at Phoenix, and I just believe that Phoenix is still the better team. I really do. I honestly do. For what it's worth, Memphis played a game against Charlotte and still lost. Jaren Jackson played a decent game against Charlotte and still lost. And Phoenix right now, they've beat Portland. For what it's worth, they suck. But they beat them, convincingly. They beat them by 10. They beat Sacramento. They beat Atlanta. They beat Cleveland 101-92. And so we need to start having a discussion about how good Cleveland really is. And this was when Colin Sexton was playing. I believe Phoenix is still the right side here. I honestly do. Now, looking at this number Thursday, Phoenix was +1. I believe Thursday, Phoenix was +1. So this number has completely flipped. Money and the sides really believe that Phoenix is the right side. You don't have Ayton in there, but I do like that you have JaVale McGee there. You pretty much have almost a full strength Phoenix. For what it's worth, you don't have Landry Shamet, who might be questionable, but you've got a lot of set pieces. Mikal Bridges plays great defense. Cam Payne, when he's not doing, his little backup dancing, he plays great defense and he has great hustle. So I do believe you have the right pieces to beat this Memphis team. The only reason why I have not stepped on it is because Memphis needs to, they need to ink a win out here. They really do. They really do. So just looking how Memphis have played, they lost to Charlotte, they've lost to Washington, they've beat Minnesota, they beat Denver twice, they lost to Miami, and they beat Golden State. That was probably their best win. I just don't see Memphis being in a position where they're going to have these continual losses. So that's the reason why I'm not on this game at all. Phoenix does look like the right side. My number has Phoenix winning, but it's a game that I'm off for right now only because I still believe Memphis can probably pull this off.
Yeah, it's a must-win game. I wonder if this total becomes more in play for the over. What was the numbers here for the cash on the over? Oh, it's all 31% tickets on the under, 91% of cash on the under. No, yeah. Brooks. Chaos says 2 teams not playing defense in the first half over all day.
Interesting.
Okay, we have a no move at this point here in the Suns game, but very interesting breakdown. A possible over.
Jimmy, you would have to look Phoenix or nothing, honestly. I mean, you really would. It's that number is tricky, but the fact that it flipped the way it did, you have to look at Phoenix.
I agree. And we got R on the Suns. They say Suns have a deep bench.
Yeah.
So he says Suns are the play of the day. Schnizzle on the Suns money line. All right, let's move on and roll into 8 p.m. Eastern. Brooklyn Nets 8-4, 4-2 on the road at New Orleans. Pelicans 1-11, 0-5 at home at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. Brooklyn 9th in pace at 100.4 possessions a game over the last 5 days, while the Pelicans 18th in pace at 97.60 possessions a game. And Astute Chaos says first half over, to clarify. Thank you about that. Thank you for that clarification. I said that wrong. Here we go. We have Brooklyn opening up at -8.5. They're now -9. This total opened at 213.5. It's now it's all over the place. 214, 214.5, 215, depending on where you shop. We go over to the cash side of things here. We have 3,858 tickets in. 70% of the tickets, 82% of the cash on Brooklyn. 46% of the tickets, 93% of the cash on the under. Brooklyn bounced back from their loss at Chicago 118-95 by getting their 6th win in 7 games, 123-90 at Orlando. James Harden, triple-double, 17, 11, and 11. Brooklyn bench stepped up, 59 points. LaMarcus Aldridge looks invigorated. He's trying. He's getting rebounds for the first time in about 3 or 4 years.
13 years.
Looked like, Harden and Durant didn't have to do anything. Late in the game. So they could sit back and relax. Pelicans coming off their 8th straight loss, 108-100 at home versus the Thunder on Wednesday night. They were angry. They were, Josh Hart was ejected. They had 5 technicals. Things are slipping for Willie over there. He's got to get this team together. Is there a move here to make? Darryl, take it away. Nets, Pelicans.
You want an in-depth analysis here?
Yeah.
Give me Brooklyn minus I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. Next game.
All right. There it is. So you just think this Pelicans team's falling apart here?
Yeah, this is bad. So we have talked about in the past the guards that are affected by the new offensive rule. And we've talked about, and I use the word quite often, ad nauseum, James Harden, Trey, Book, Steph. It looks like James is starting to turn that around, even though his fat ass has still gotten a little lazy with some things, but he's kind of turned it around a little, right? So Brooklyn is just playing a great game. Don't be afraid of that number. They covered the -12, covered the -10 by Detroit, which I think Detroit is a better team than the Pelicans. Pelicans just outright suck. So give me Brooklyn Nets minus I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
Brooklyn Nets -9, -104, just for my own record-keeping purposes. But Darryl doesn't care. but for my own record-keeping purposes. Ixnissel says trifecta spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. And I was gonna go that way. That's funny that he says that, Jay. Whoever that was, because I can't see the comments. Whomever that was, I was gonna go that way. But this is where I got afraid. Remember the last time I played the Nets? It was give me the Nets first half points, and they had averaged like about 56 or something, and they wound up scoring 39 points in the first half, and then turning around and scoring 39 points in the third quarter. So I was just afraid to see, okay, maybe they just might come off to some kind of slow start or whatever. I didn't want to go there with them, but yeah, I think by the end of this game, it gets out of hand.
I like it. I like it. Oh, Cody Jackson, sorry to hear, man. That must have been a tough game to watch. Must have been a tough game to watch there for Cody. Let's get you back in the black here. Nets -9 and -104 for Darryl. Let's keep rolling. We move on to the Sacramento Kings at Oklahoma City Thunder. This is the only bet I've already made. I took the Kings first half, and it would have taken them first quarter, but it was unavailable to me, and it's available now, but it wasn't available. The first quarters weren't up in my book yet. Kings 5-7, 3-3 on the road. Thunder 4-6, 2-2 at home. We're at the Paycom Center in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Sacramento pace last 5 games, 7th at 100.7 possessions a game. Oklahoma 9th at 100.4 possessions a game. When we get into the market move here, we have Sacramento opening up at -4. There are 4.5s on the board, and this total hovering around 218 and 219. When we get over to the cash flow here, we have 1,904 tickets in, 58% of the tickets, 68% of cash on Sacramento, and then 36% of the tickets, 79% of cash on the under. Sacramento comes in off their third straight loss, 136, 117 at San Antonio on Wednesday night. They've trailed, so there's 3 straight losses. They've trailed by at least 9 points in the first quarter of each game, and they've twice trailed by at least 13 points in the first quarter. Harkless says, and he speaks, he's got a loud voice in the locker room. And he says, once a team kind of hits you first, then you're on your heels. They try to keep it rolling. Says you've got to figure out a way to try and stop it. And he was intense with that last sentence, and I think it's going to carry over here. Thunder coming off their third straight win, 108-100 at the Pelicans on Wednesday night. Is it possible for a young team like the Thunder, even though they're 4-6, to be fat and happy here? Let's hear what Darryl has to say. Kings, Thunder, take it away.
Yeah, I'm off this game. I'm totally off this damn game, man. I really am. Only because this looks like this should be kind of like another Charlotte score, right? Charlotte, they beat Charlotte 140-110, right? But then they lose to San Antonio 136-117. Why the hell is this number so low, right? This number is extremely low for the amount of points that Sacramento has allowed or is allowing. OKC just baffles me. They and maybe because they did it to my Lakers, right? So I don't understand why the Kings would have 4.5 points given to them. Now maybe it's just because how these teams have played in the past. The Kings just blow them out. The Kings blow out OKC, but this just looks like a move to where you should take the Kings side, take the 4.5 points. I just don't have a play because I don't know what to expect from the Kings. I mean, you lose 117-136 against San Antonio. San Antonio does not put up 136 points, and this isn't an overtime game. You know what I'm saying? But then you can't even get to the century mark with Indy, and Indy is a terrible second half team. So I'm still kind of confused with this squad. OKC, I don't know just yet. I'm still trying to figure them out as well because they should be a lot better than they are, even with their young players. So for right now, I don't have a play on this game, but I do and would lean. I would definitely lean Kings here, only because it's a situation to where the Kings should be able to blow these boys out easily. They've done it in the past. They have beat them no problem. But that 4.5 is still, in my opinion, a lot of points.
Yeah, and Oklahoma City, they keep coming at you, and they've had great second halves here. To see a team get destroyed in 3 first quarters in a row and then take them first quarter is
you would, Jimmy. You would have to look at the first half, right? I mean, Sacramento is quietly ranked number 3 in first half points, right? So it's kind of weird to me that if you were going to look at take Sacramento Kings first half, you probably have it at maybe a 2.5 or 3. I don't know where you have that, but it would be the look. Sacramento first half, just haven't got there yet. That would be a lean for me.
It's the only bet I've made on this card thus far. Dan Kelly says first quarter Phoenix at -115. Said spreadsheet loves it and counterintuitive. 6-5 on NBA posts in the chat for Dan Kelly. Tracking his own action. I love it. Thank you, Dan. Because it's taken me hours to track everyone's action. First quarter Phoenix pick 'em at -115 for Dan Kelly. I'm going to copy and paste that and get that right under that Phoenix
Dan
game.
Kelly's a man.
Yeah, he's just such a huge asset to everything we do here. All right, let's move on. We move on to Mavericks Spurs, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Mavericks 7-4, 2-3 on the road. Spurs 4-7, 2-3 at home. We're at AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. Dallas paced the last 5 games, 20th in the NBA at 97 possessions a game. Spurs are 5th at 101.90 possessions a game. Let's move over. Oh, that's FanDuel. Sorry. Let's move over to the cash in this bar, the market. Dallas opening up at -2.5 at plus money. They're now -2.5 juiced, and their threes on the board. This total is sitting at 218 or 290. There's even a 219.5 out there. Let's move over to the cash in this spot. We have 2,484 tickets in. 25% of tickets are on the Spurs and 61% of the cash. Then you have 39% of tickets on the under and 75% of cash on the under. So big bets being made on the under. Dallas had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 117-107 loss at the Bulls on Wednesday night. The Spurs bounced back from their disappointing 99-94 loss at OKC by destroying the Kings 136-117 at home on Wednesday night. In the Dallas spot, KP, 22 points and 12 boards. These teams have played twice already this year, and Mavericks have won both. They won 104-99 at home on October 28th. They won 109-108 on the road 6 days later. That was another breakdown spot for me in this NBA season where I could have had the Spurs +2, but instead I took the Spurs money line. Hardaway Jr. had 21 points. Luka had 20 and 10 and 8 boards. Dwight Powell and Jalen Brunson had 12 points each for Dallas in that loss to the Bulls. Jalen Brunson having just a monster campaign so far this year. And in that Spurs game, DeWanta goes for 26, and they led by 14 after the first quarter. They led by as much as 22 in the second quarter. Eubanks 18, McBuckets 17, Thaddeus Young 17, Devin Vassell, Lonnie Walker, Bryn Forbes each had 15. 62 of San Antonio's 65 points in that first half, in the second half from non-starters. Jakob Poeltl is still in health and safety protocol because of COVID. All right, take it away, Darryl. Mavericks Spurs.
So this is a game that San Antonio should get up for, right? I mean, you can't go for the sweep here, right? So Dallas has beat them both times, as you said. They lost 108-109, and that was without Jakob Poeltl in that game, right? So what gives me cause for pause here is how good I saw Kristaps play last game. Like the Unicorn has kind of turned it around. I don't know if Jason Kidd's kind of gotten to him, but for what it's worth, I did like his play. He has some nice dunks. He had some nice smooth shots. He just looked like kind of vintage Unicorn, like New York Knicks Unicorn. So my lean here, and I'll make it quick. My lean is San Antonio. It just looks like this is the game they get right. The first game they lost by 5 points. The second game they lost by a point. And this just seems like a game where Popovich has a great scouting report and is able to kind of get it right. So I am leaning here San Antonio. I know we don't have Jakob, so we are losing size to a certain degree. But I do believe you have all the right tools to still beat Dallas. Dallas plays terrible in the first quarter, right? So if we're going to play catch up, this game is 217, or I don't know if that number has even gotten lower even now, but this seems like a get right game for San Antonio. For what it's worth, this is a get right game for San Antonio, and 3 times a charm, man. I don't believe Dallas could beat them the third time around. So my lean is San Antonio. I haven't gotten to the window there just yet. I really do like San Antonio to get done, especially coming off, a win that you had last game where, in my opinion, they probably should have lost or necessarily lose, but they probably shouldn't have scored that many points against Sacramento. I mean, 136 points is a lot. So you're not going to see that here. So my lean is San Antonio. Haven't gotten there just yet.
Well, let's see if the extra guidance from none other than Jose Bouquet can help us in this game. We have the Say Hey play of the day from Jose Bouquet. Jose, talk to us. What are you looking at here?
Darryl's sweet voice convinced me in the last, 20, 30 minutes that I'm going to this game. I'm gonna go to this game. Why not? Okay. And guess what? Here's the advanced analytics that you guys don't know about, that you guys need to know about.
Okay.
The Fiesta jerseys make their debut tonight. Tonight is the first Fiesta night for the Spurs. They'll be wearing the crispy white Fiesta uniforms. And if you look at me in the face and you tell me that they lose on the first night of their Fiesta shit, no way. No chance. I'll take the +3 because I'm safe. I like the plus 130 money line we've got going. But give me the Spurs tonight. Come on. Those jerseys are so nice that they have to win, right? It's going to be a good crowd. The only thing I'm worried about is, like Darryl just mentioned, the Spurs suck on offense. Popovich even says, like, we're not a team that scores like 130 points, and they went out and did it the other night, which, again, I was at that game too, by the way, and we won that game too. So I'm not even a Spurs fan. I'm going to all these Spurs games now. Who am I? But I'm taking the Spurs tonight. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring affair again. I honestly was looking at the under a little bit, but I don't know basketball scores, and basketball math is hard for me. Yeah. So I pass on all basketball totals, and I'll take the +3 with the Spurs. Right now, Jimmy, on my favorite book, you can get that on BetDog.
Jose, have you ever seen those they've got a minor league baseball team?
Oh, the Mission! I was a bat boy for them. Come on.
Have you seen their shirts, the San Antonio Flying Chanclas?
I've got my Flying Chanclas hat around here somewhere, Darryl. Come on. I've worn the uniform. I was a bat boy. I know a thing or two about my Flying Chanclas.
Man. Hey, man, that has probably got to be the best mascot, if you would call it that, in all of minor league history.
The valet helped me out.
That is so funny, bro.
My hat. I appreciate it.
Just a flying damn flip-flop. That is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life, man.
Darryl, let me tell you, in the Mexican and Hispanic cultures, we embrace beating our children, and that's why we've got the Flying Chancla right here, Daddy. This is why we embrace that.
Okay, yeah, it's San Antonio or nothing for me here. So yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten there yet, but I just do believe Pop is playing this team for the third time. This is a game San Antonio should definitely win.
What is the juice associated with your +3?
It is -110.
All right, Jose, who's Say Hey play today, running nice right now. Spurs +3 at -110, and Carlos Luders loving the hat, Jose.
Yeah.
Spurs +3 for Jose. Say Hey play of the day, and I agree with that, Dan Kelly. All right, let's keep rolling. We move on to the next game here at 9 p.m. Eastern. Atlanta Hawks 4-8, 1-7 on the road at Denver Nuggets 7-4, 5-1 at home. Apologize for the alarm. I guess it's not my fucking alarm. I'll tell you that much. Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Atlanta. Oh, that's just gonna keep going, isn't it? It's just gonna fucking go and go. Oh, I'm going to lose my shit here. I'm going to have to – Jesus Christ. Okay. Let me just set the table here quickly before I just, open hand.
Jimmy, why don't I set the table for you? You can go do your thing real quick.
All right, I'll be right back.
I got you. Hey, Darryl, how about we talk shooty hoops? How about we talk some shooty hoops, Darryl? Hawks at Nuggets.
Oh, I can't with y'all, man.
Of course, the Nuggets win without Jokic because that's how that basketball works.
Yeah.
And the Hawks and Trae Young. Apparently, Trae Young's struggling with these rule changes. He went to the University of Oklahoma, so you hate to see that. Darryl. What are you thinking here, Darryl? I'd love to know.
Yeah, so I didn't play this game, but I think I'm going to hop on Denver here. So you do have Trae Young, who is highly affected by this rule because of the way he puts players in jail. And so he can't do that any longer, right? So I like Denver's angle because you basically have an extended rest with Joker, right? Joker didn't play a game. He was suspended. He also, I remember watching a I think it was Tuesday Night Ball when Barkley was talking about Joker not only was suspended a game and fined, but he loses a game check, right? So he lost about, over 300,000 or whatever that is, or his game checks are. If I was Joker, I'd be pissed. I'd be pissed as fuck. So it's not one of those things to where I would want to get in front of that. I know the number is going down. It was -5. I've seen a -4 now, but this looks like, we don't have Michael Porter in, but for whatever it's worth, Will Barton has been able to ball out of control. I think he put up like 32 or 30 points last game. And so this is a game that I believe Denver can win. They can keep the pace. And with Joker back, Joker is not only back, but he's a little more refreshed here. He probably did a little bit of rehab. He was off a game. So this is a game, in my opinion, that Denver should get right. I know that number is going the opposite way, but I would look at Denver here. I haven't gotten to the window on that as well. As you can see, I'm not being reckless, Jay. I'm not picking every game. I've learned my lesson. But my lean is still going to be Denver. Looking at my number, though, it's weird, because it has Atlanta winning this game outright. My number is Atlanta -1. So I can see that also. But this is just a game to where Denver's at home. Atlanta's in elevation. It should work in Denver's favor. So Denver is my lean, even though my number has Atlanta -1. I haven't played this game just yet, but that's where I'm looking.
I think that there are other advanced models that probably coincide with your feelings here, because 52% of the tickets are on the Hawks and 96% of the cash is on the Hawks. And maybe that tells you that Bogdanovich and DeAndre Hunter will be in the lineup. They're still listed as questionable right now. But this is an angry Hawks team that's lost 5 straight games.
Yeah, man. Yeah, what I was thinking, Jay, was so if you have Hunter and you have Bog, then you do have more strength on the wing, right? Which is going to really hurt Denver, because you don't have MPJ out, or you have MPJ out. So it's one of those things where it's going to be advantage wing, and this game could get out of hand for Denver. And I think that's why the Hawks is the better spot here. It's just the number has gone down, so it does show that as well. So I would look at the Hawks. Even though I'm still I'm torn on this one, to be quite honest with you, because it's a large enough number. But if you're going to get up somewhere, if I had to have a play right now, it would be Hawks.
And Uncle Oliver, like in the over 215.5, we got to move. We've got 2 games left on the card before we get into NCAA basketball. What do you think of this over here? We don't have the cash flowing because there's only 1,790 tickets on this game at this point, but 69% of tickets are on the over, and we've seen this total. I don't even know what Pinnacle opened it at. I'll have to check right now. What do you think of the total?
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with it. I mean, it just seems like, once again, this is just a low number, right? But we know with Joker in, you're going to play at a slower pace. Joker is going to pass the ball and get people open. Atlanta's going to try to speed that pace up. So 215 is pretty low. So why would that even be that low? If you're thinking that key players are going to be out, it still runs to the favor of the over. But it's just something that I don't want to get involved in. I try not to do totals because that's not where my strength is. But if 215 is surprisingly low. You're saying one team is going to score 105 and another team is going to score 110. If that's the case, then that would work to Denver's favor, right? A lower scoring game. Yeah. So that's why I won't touch it. If it was a little higher, then it would make sense, but it doesn't make sense.
All right, let's move on to the next spot on the card, 10 p.m. Eastern. Chicago Bulls 8-3, 3-1 on the road. Golden State Warriors 10-1, 7-1 at home. We're at the Chase Center in San Francisco, California. Bulls pace last 5 games, 15th in the NBA, 98.60 possessions a game. Golden State playing at the 5th fastest pace in the NBA, 101.90 possessions a game. We have Golden State sitting as 5.5-point favorites with this total at 221.5 or thereabouts. I will double check that. It looks like I'm not getting my lines updated right now, and I'll figure out what's going on there. When we go over to the cash flow in this spot, 2,988 tickets in, 33% of the tickets on the Bulls, 47% of the cash, then 38% of tickets on the under, but 72% of cash on the under here. That's in the low 220s. Bulls coming off their second straight win, 117-107 at home over the Mavericks on Wednesday. Warriors come in off their 6th straight win, 123-110 at home. Oh, shit. Sorry, I've got that twice. My apologies. The Warriors come in 123-10 win over the Timberwolves on Wednesday night. This is the 8th and final game of the homestand. Wiggins went off for 35 points against his former team and completely changed the game. Draymond Green had to leave Wednesday's game with a bruised right thigh. It looks like he's going to be a game time decision, but I'll take a look, see if I can get any more updates in this spot. But the Warriors have won 6 in a row, all by double digits, but all against teams that are currently under 500. All against weaker teams. And so I don't know how good they are, but you want to stop the Bulls from taking things to the next level. Let COVID come in and mess with everything. Vucevic did not make the trip to San Francisco because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then they don't have Patrick Williams, who underwent surgery on his left wrist last month. Vucevic, 25.3 points, 12.7 boards in his last 3 games against the Warriors.
Yeah.
He would have been a nice piece to the puzzle, but he's unavailable. Take it away, Bulls, Warriors, Daryl.
Yeah. I remember seeing this little this gif, and it was actually a video. And old boy was like, that's blah. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. That's what I got to say with Vucevic, right? And this is the reason why. If you look at Golden State's roster, do you know their only center is Wiseman? So essentially, Golden State's been playing small ball this entire time, right? They're playing Kevon Looney, who is a power forward at 6'9", and Draymond Green, who's 6'8". So having Vucevic off the court, obviously you lose rebounds, but you can play small ball, right? So I liked that Vucevic is not playing in this game. I really did like that because you do have you're allowed more spacing here. Man, we have got to start talking about the defensive play of Alex Caruso. We've honestly got to start talking about that because this man is doing things at a defensive level to where he's looking. It just seems like he really spent a lot of time with LeBron, for whatever it's worth. He spent a lot of time just learning the game and learning the ins and outs of the game. And he's just applying that defensively. Now that you space the court, you do have Lonzo Ball who's able to see the court even more better, right? So if you are having Lonzo throwing full court passes to Levine, that's going to happen today. So you have Caruso on probably Steph, right? You have Ball, who's going to probably come in and play his own defense on Steph. They'll swap back and forth. You've got Levine. You've got some set pieces here, man. You've got DeMar that'll probably play Wiggins. I don't think there's any problem with Vucevic not playing today, considering that Golden State has already played and they've been playing small ball. Look at Chicago, man. They beat Dallas. They beat Brooklyn, who in their own right is coming off pretty good. They lost to Philly twice, right? But they beat Boston. They've beat Utah. They beat Toronto. They've beaten better opponents, in my opinion. Today, man, I am definitely all in on Chicago. Give me Chicago plus 5.5. My number has this at -3 for Golden State. Man, I could honestly believe that Chicago could come in and roll these boys out. I honestly believe that. They start their little road trip. I do believe that Dre is going to play. He's going to want to get up for this game because of how good Chicago is. But I guarantee you he was rehabbing that knee. I guarantee you he is not 100%. Chicago is a great team. This is a playoff team right now. And you are going to start seeing regression happen with Golden State, especially now that they're about to go on the road. So give me Chicago plus 5.5. I'm all on top of that. I do believe they win this game outright.
Patrick saying Golden State Warriors can't guard uber athletic 2 guards. Edwards torched them, and Levine will do the same. Dennis Garcia says Chicago is so overrated. Ray Charles says DeRozan and Levine will both show out. Bill McDonald riding the DeRozan points over. For show cash says Vucevic out. DeRozan could score 48. Darryl on the Bulls plus 5.5 at -108. That's available right now at Pinnacle right now as we speak. And the over, interesting too. That was a great breakdown. We've got to finish up here because we're moving on to college basketball with Nolly Knows.
Yeah.
So let's hammer this last game, and it is your Lakers that we were talking about. 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Timberwolves 3-7, 1-2 on the road at LA Lakers 7-5, 6-3 at home. Staples Center, Los Angeles, California. Minnesota pace last 5 games, 11th in the NBA, 99.62 possessions a game. Lakers second in pace at 103.58 possessions a game. We have it's sitting around anywhere between -2 and -3 right now for the Lakers. This total opened up at 225, and it's all over the map. I don't know. Can I really believe that it's gone down to 222.5? I find that hard to believe. Let me just check. And it has 222.5 here. The market is moving quickly. Cash-wise here, we have 2,030 tickets in, 54% of the tickets, 60% of cash on the Lakers. And then 44% of the tickets on the under, 58% of cash on the under, and a big move towards the under. Wolves come in off their 6th straight loss, 123-110 at Golden State on Wednesday night. Lakers come in off their 2nd straight overtime home win, 120-117 versus the Heat on Wednesday. The 2 victories come after they lost consecutive games, and when LeBron James went down with the abdominal injury, looks like LeBron James is going to be out for a lot longer than expected. So Austin Reeves, Rajon Rondo did not play because of hamstring strains. Trevor Ariza, Kendrick Nunn, Taylor Horton Tucker hurt. With all this, Russell Westbrook been stepping up, 25 points, 12 boards, 14 assists. Minnesota's lost 123-110 at Golden State. With Ant scoring 48 points, 16 of 27 from the field, 7 of 13 from 3. He's just the 4th player with 3 games of at least 40 points before turning 21, joining LeBron, Durant, and Luka. And D'Angelo Russell returns, and he's back. He had 30 points in his first game, looked great, just 18 and 7 assists against his former team. And now he has another shot here against the Lakers, another former team for him. Timberwolves, Lakers, Darryl, take it away.
Yeah, so I'll make this quick. I'm leaning the Lakers here. I just might get to the window with this, and I think this is what people are forgetting. This is a bunch of glue guys that the Lakers have, and adding on, and you're starting to see these add-ons play, and that is Ellington, Malik Monk, and Avery Bradley. People are forgetting about these guys. They really are. And so this is a game, in my opinion, the Lakers should get up for it. They should win this game easily. This number is still going down. I don't care here. I do like the Lakers, and it's not just me being a fan of the Lakers. It's just what I'm starting to see happen with the Lakers. And so what you see happen with Cat is this. When he gets disrupted in the paint, he just goes out and starts shooting threes, right? So I don't think there's going to be any issue with AD getting his points off and with Cat even being in the paint to get his points off. I do like the defense of Avery Bradley, and I do like the shooting of Malik Monk. I think he had over 30 points last game, I believe. That's not even a game if Russell doesn't shoot a damn three. I mean, come on, what are we doing, man? What are we doing here? So I like it though because I was able to cover. Right, I took I took the Lakers against Miami, and I was able to win. Right, so for what it's worth, this is a game to where I think you see a continuation of that against a team. That's my phone now. Against a team who actually has worse defense than Miami. Right, they beat Miami. Now maybe Miami was still a little rattled because of that Denver game previously, but they went out and they handled them pretty decently, in my opinion. It did go into overtime, and they were able to win that game. I do believe Ant Edwards is a prophet, and this is what he said. This was a week ago or so. He's like, we can't start losing these games consistently. And I said this already. He's like, 2 games will turn into 3 will turn into 4, and the next thing you know, you've lost 18 games in a row. I do believe Lakers win this game handedly. I want to see if this gets to 1.5. I have seen a 2. Maybe it's equaled out, but I'm leaning Lakers heavily here only because of the set pieces that are starting to show up in play. So I do lean Lakers. I will probably add that on later on. But I do lean Lakers here. I do like Lakers.
There is 2s available. There's a 2.5 at Pinnacle at plus 103 as well. So we will see if Darryl moves on it. Darryl, great job. Let's review NBA action here on Betting with the Bag with It's Darryl. We got Darryl Rice joining us. Let's go. We start with under 225 at minus 117 in Knicks Hornets. Yeah. Then he's on the Celtics money line at plus 105 over the Bucks. Then no move in Pistons Cavs or Portland Houston.
Yeah.
Dan Kelly is moved on Phoenix first quarter at -115.
Interesting.
And Suns or no bet, and also interest in the over with Brooks out. We'll talk. I've got more time to figure that out. Darryl has moved on the Nets -9 at -104. I have some asterisks there thinking about tailing that. Mike Butler, thank you for the kind words, my friend says, bless Friday, bro, bless you and the family. Thank you, Mike Butler. Right Black, he says, bless the chat. Love that. Thank you. Kings, Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm already on the Kings first half, and I'm about, as soon as I can, when the show's over, I'll jump on the first quarter. Then Jose Sehe play of the day is the Spurs +3. No move in Atlanta Nuggets. Then Darryl's on the Bulls +5.5 at -108. I'm interested in that. Also interested in the over in that spot. Then Timberwolves Lakers. We will see if Darryl moves on the Lakers. Does that all sound right?
That sounds right. I'm coming very close to Phoenix. That line is -1.5 Phoenix now, and it was +1 yesterday.
Yes, I think that Pinnacle may have moved it to 2. Let me double check that right now. Yes, Pinnacle has moved it to 2 at -102.
Jesus, wow, that's moving fast. I might have missed it. So, yeah, I should have went with my gut and just took that number while it was Phoenix plus or Phoenix +1 yesterday, but I did it. Okay, man, I got it.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. We love having you rolling with us, Darryl.
Yeah, man.
Please follow my guy on Twitter. I'm going to pop it up. It's @It's Darryl right there, @ITSDERL. He's a great follow, and he's a huge addition to our family here. Thank you for rolling with us, my man. Have an incredible weekend, and we're going to get together for some drinks over the holidays. I'm going to be through LA, so I'm going to come through.
Oh, God. Don't you get me started. Yeah, let's get it in, bro.
I look forward to it, my man. I look forward
to it.
Take
care, man.
Be well. There he is. It's Darryl in the house. We move on to NCAA basketball and NCAA football and the triumphant return of a low bag legend. I've missed sharing the screen with him. Please welcome to the show, pride of Long Beach, California. Nolly Knows in the house. Nolly, what's happening?
What's going on, Jimmy? It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you to Pub Sports for having me. And shout out to the chat. I'm ready to talk some football, basketball, all of it. It's a great time to be a bettor. I'm excited. I'm ready to get to it.
Let's get right to work. Now, we have other things going on in college basketball. So we haven't talked about the Taint play of the day. We will talk about that. We have Mike M's college basketball plays of the day. But we are going to get started with our guy, Nolly Knows. Let me get everything up here for this so I'm prepared with the market analysis and the cash flow. There we go. And move the money over here to NCAAB. All right. We are in a business. So, Nolly, we start, or you start. These are games that Nolly has picked. We start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern with East Tennessee State Buccaneers. Last year, they went 13-12, 8-7 in SoCon. At Appalachian State Mountaineers, 17-12 season for them. We're at Holmes Convocation Center in Boone, North Carolina. We go over to the spreads and totals for this spot here. So just take a second for it to load up. We have, come on, baby. Show your face. It's taking a second here. It's going to be up here in a second. While that's loading, let's get this up. We have the cash flow on this game. 1,122 tickets in. Interesting. Only 40% of the tickets are on East Tennessee State, but 91% of the cash is on East Tennessee State. We've seen the market move towards App State. They opened up as 1.5-point favorites. They're now 2.5-point favorites. And this total is dropping. It opened up at 135.5. There's now 134.5 and 134s on the board. First game for our Nolly Knows Buccaneers Mountaineers. Take it away.
Yeah, a big game for me. I like this matchup. And when I'm going to be sitting here talking about these numbers, by no means am I Maxwell Smart. I'm not going to be sitting here being able to rattle off a lot of names. I look at percentages and I look at numbers to try to find probability of this total staying under or over. And you know me, I look at under, and that's what I like to see here with Appalachian State and Eastern Tennessee State. Appalachian State not turning over a whole lot. They've only got 2 new players to the roster this season, and a team that really didn't look to push the pace much at all. Last year, you look at their possessions per game, 66.5 possessions per game. That's good for 278th in the nation. And another great indicator for me for the total, 3-point percentage. They rank 268th in the nation at just 31.8%, and that's going to be a difficult task against Eastern Tennessee State. Another team that not a lot of turnover, a lot of similarity in their roster. Big 7-footer down low, senior. They've got 2 seniors that pretty much run the show. So a lot of similarities in what they do here this year once again, and a team again slow in pace. Possessions per game, 66.6, good for 275th in the nation. Their 3-point percentage a bit higher than what you've seen from Appalachian State, but a team that doesn't put up a whole lot. You saw last year 35.7%, good for 84th in the nation. But Appalachian State playing good defense last year, and they played good defense last time out. Their first game took a loss to Iona, on the road, 65-53 total. But I thought they did a good work on the perimeter, holding them to just 20% from the 3-point land, and it just couldn't do enough offensively. And I mentioned the pace and I mentioned the defense, and both paces for both sides. It's only one way I'm looking. That's under the total. I understand it drops, but hey, the time we're doing this video, it happens. So it's going to happen a lot if you're betting in the morning. If you want to beat the line movement, you got to bet it the night before. But I'll still take it where it's at right now. 134 is good for me. And also, I completely agree with the money, not the move, but I completely agree with Eastern Tennessee State. I'm looking at them on money line. Not really a big side guy, but I like Eastern Tennessee State as well.
Wow. And Maxwell Smart also on this under. We have Matty Ice liking this side that you like as well. I'm going to move over. Just make sure this is not a stale line. See if I can get you this 134.5. They say it's available at Sports Interaction, and my shit isn't updating. So I'm going to check this out here quickly. Damn, 134. Okay, so yeah, it's 134s across the board. Nolly getting his card started. His first NCAA basketball bet on the show in a year. 134 minus 110. We are off and rolling with Nolly Knows and vouching also for the Buccaneers. We move on to 8 p.m. Eastern for the next spot on Nolly's card. Abilene Christian Wildcats 24-5 at Texas A&M. Aggies 8-10, 2-8 in the SEC. We're at Reed Arena in College Station. We all remember what we saw from Abilene last year, that huge 53-52 win over Texas in the tournament before losing by 20 to UCLA. They start the year off losing 70-56 at Utah. 70-56 at Utah. And Texas A&M played on Wednesday night. So the Abilene-Utah game was Tuesday night. Abilene shot 38.6% from the field and 19% from 3. On Wednesday, North Florida, Texas A&M played in Texas A&M. Texas A&M won 64-46, so a very low-scoring game over there. We have the market here. We have Texas A&M opening up as 10.5-point favorites, and it looks like it's moved to 11. I'll have to double-check that. This total dropping, opening up at 131.5 and now down to about 128.5. I will look for a better line as well. Here we go. Abilene Christian, Texas A&M. Nolly, take it away.
Yes, sir, Jimmy. That's unfortunate with the line move, something we talked about, but it's going to happen every time. But this is a game that I'm really high on. We talk about Abilene Christian. They've got a lot of turnover with this team. They got a lot of new faces. They got a new coach, but he's not necessarily a new face, but it's a new coach. They're going to be in a new conference, and they got a couple new players. So a lot of differences here. But their coach, Brett Tanner, a guy that these players wanted to play for, senior, came out and tweeted, basically we're not going to play for anyone else shortly after he gets hired. So a guy that's going to bring a lot of familiarity, a lot of continuity to the program, that has a distinct identity, and that's a reputation of disruptive defense. This defense forced turnovers at the highest rate in the country last year. They at 26.5%. They finished in the top 29 in total in turnover possession in the last five seasons, and haven't finished lower than 97 since 2015. And a big part of that has been this coach. And that's something that I expect to continue here. You saw a little bit of struggle last time out, being able to put the ball in the net. And I think that's something that they'll struggle here against Texas A&M. A team that also focuses on defense, a team that also replacing a lot of players, but the program revolves around the defense. And right now they're under assistant coach Devin Johnson, head coach serving a 2-game suspension. But when I was listening to the post-game interview with him, all he mentioned was defense, how good they were communicating on defense, how they're going to fix some things on defense. They were able to hold North Florida to 46 points. Understand the discrepancy in talent, but still North Florida, no slouch. But I thought they did their job, and the coach is still signaling that they need to improve defensively. So things that I love to see, and we look at pace, I don't see either team getting over 60 shot attempts up in this game. Abilene Christian shot 57 last time out, and really, like you mentioned, 19% from three-point land, something that I think they'll struggle against Texas A&M again. Texas A&M was very profitable to the under last year for me, and I expect that trend to continue. I was on that first game, cashed pretty easily, and I'm going to keep riding that. At 128, they have yet to make the adjustment. I did catch a little higher, but for the show, I'll take the 128.
I can get you a 128.5 at Pinnacle for minus 114.
Now, just the 128 is right. It's all right.
128 at minus 110. I'll see if I can get lower than that. There you have it. The under 128 at minus 110 in Abilene Christian, Texas A&M. This is beautiful. So let me just pull. I've got so many. Because my shit's not updating. I have like 50 windows open. All right, let's move on to the next spot. So again, Nolly on the board with the under 134 in East Tennessee State Buccaneers, the Appalachian State Mountaineers, and the Abilene Christian Wildcats, Texas A&M Aggies. He's also on the under there. We move on to we go to Provo, Utah, Marriott Center in Utah. San Diego State Aztecs 23-5 last year at BYU Cougars. BYU Cougars 20-7 last season. Let me get this all set up here. Move over to the market. We have San Diego State opening up as 3-point dogs right across the board, and this total sitting firm at 135.5 or 136. Let's move over to the cash flow because we'll have cash flow in this game because it's a bigger schools. We have just 680 tickets in right now. 77% of the tickets on BYU, 86% of the cash on BYU, 75% of tickets on the over, 90% of cash right now on the over in this spot that pops off at 9 p.m. Eastern. Nolly Knows, Aztecs, Cougars. Take it away.
Yes, sir, Jimmy. Big game here between these two teams, a rivalry that's starting to exist between San Diego State, BYU in the basketball court, no longer playing each other on the football field, but here last two seasons really going at it. But a big difference here, San Diego State losing 3 of their top scorers and starters from last season. How are they going to replace that? But one thing that you always know with defense, with San Diego State, like I just said, is defense. They're always going to pressure the ball and play good perimeter defense, and that's what they showed against UC Riverside. They came out and played extremely well, only allowed 25% from three-point, only 35% overall from the field, and a team that I expect to continue to do what they do on the defensive end. Tough place to play here in Provo, Utah. You mentioned going on the road, higher elevation, teams tend to struggle there. But BYU, without their center, is going to be a problem. The Coach Pope talks about a huge blow to our team. It's a 24-year-old 6'11" center that looked to pretty much take over the last year's center, and that's going to be a problem for them. And I think they're going to have San Diego State is going to end up having the height advantage down low. And for me, I like that because San Diego State has to find a little bit more rhythm offensively. When we talk about offense is rhythm and defense is effort. And effort is not lacking with these college kids, especially in this type of game, in this environment. But the rhythm is, and it's going to take a little bit for them to gel. They were able to produce 66 points here, but BYU much tougher defensively than their last opponent in UC Riverside. So to me, when I look at these teams and I look at the pace of play, neither team eclipsed the 50 field goal attempts in their games, their previous games. That's something that I look for. I'm always talking about the probability. That's what I'm trying to calculate here. Probability of it going over the 136 or 135 and a half. And I just don't see it here. There's a lot of offense that needs to be replaced, but there's defense that can shut it down. Don't get me wrong. They've got a couple of transfers at San Diego State that look to be doing their thing, but still, I think the offense will lack here, and I like the under here, 136 or 135 and a half.
I'm going to line shop for you, and we have looks for the game popping off right now that we just shared with the chat. Darryl Lyles joining us too, OG Lowbagger. Great call yesterday on the over in your – I forget the Californian game off the top of my head, but I did copy and paste it and then review everybody's action. That was a great call, Darryl Lyles. Darryl Lyles is on Nova plus 3.5, South Dakota State, Alabama over 163.5. And this is the spot from Dennis Garcia on Northeastern. And it's also a look from our guy Millsy in the house joining us. Man, we love very, very much Millsy back in action. And great to see you. We've missed you, buddy. So great to have you back rolling with us. Okay, so there we go. Aztecs Cougars. I'm going to line shop for the under. Matty Ice saying that the under 135.5 is also on his card. He's also thinking of doubling up on the first half under 63.5. And speaking of which, Nolly, Max moved on the Washington Huskies under yesterday and mentioned that you were on it as well. I bet it too, and it was a really nice cash for me at the late at night that I needed desperately. So thank you for leading the way again.
Definitely.
There. Okay, let's keep rolling. Next up, we have Stanford Cardinal at Santa Clara Broncos. Stanford 14-13, 10-10 in the Pac-12 last year. Santa Clara 12-8, 4-5 in the WCC. We're in Santa Clara, California, and Stanford, did not look good in that first game. Jesus, Tarleton Texans, they win 62-50, and Stanford looked bad. Shot 42.6% from the field, 28.6% from three. Santa Clara opened up with an 84-77 victory over CSU Fullerton. In this spot, Santa Clara shot 56.7% from the field and 33.3% from three, and held CSU Fullerton to 16.7% from three. Let's move over to the cash flow and the odds market here. Find the fucking odds market. Jeez, I got too much shit up here. Let's move this here. Okay, here we go. This spot at 11 p.m. Eastern. Stanford, I'm not getting updates here. So the market's moving in Stanford's direction. I'm not sure to what extent, because it says that Pinnacle opened it up at -2 and that Bet365's at -3.5. I'll have to double check that. And then from a total standpoint, we have 137s across the board. Here we go. Nolly Knows. Mike Butler saying, Nolly, good breakdown, my guy. Nolly, take it away for Stanford, Santa Clara, your last spot on the college basketball card.
Yeah, another spot that I like quite a bit here when we look at Stanford, Santa Clara, a number that I feel is a bit inflated because of what you've seen in the past and what Santa Clara did last time out against Cal State Fullerton. But this is not Cal State Fullerton. Cal State Fullerton looks to push the pace a lot more than what you saw at Stanford, who Stanford in their victory only put up 47 shot attempts, a team that looks to push the ball around, move it around a lot, and plays a lot of team ball, not shooting a whole lot of three-pointers, only shot 17 three-pointers in that first game out, and really not going to be very efficient from the three-point land. What I saw out of that Stanford game was their true freshmen were the ones to shine in that game. They do have a top guy in Harrison Ingram. Harrison Ingram played extremely well once he got going. It took him about 10 minutes, but then he hit 5 straight shots. But a guy that really doesn't shoot too many threes is going to find his game down low, and he plays excellent defense, something that I like to see a lot. I said I wouldn't mention names, but I also like Isa Silva, another true freshman point guard that I believe should be starting in this game, and he might get more minutes than the sophomore starting point guard. And I just felt that he was a lot more dynamic, was able to penetrate and dish the ball out, looked a lot better than the starter. And I just think defensively, what Stanford does is going to be able to slow down Santa Clara. Santa Clara, you see last time, put up 60 shot attempts, but we're able to shoot 56.7%. And I'm sorry, but that's just not going to happen here against Stanford. Something that you've seen against Stanford is that they play good defense. They're coached extremely well. And when I listen to some of the quotes from the Stanford head coach, he just talks about how they're going to be developing and how they're going to be better. And they have deficiencies right now, and that's the offensive end. But the effort is there, and I mentioned it, defense is effort, and I expect them to continue what they did. They held their opponent just 28% shooting. Mind you, I understand who their opponent was, but I just love how they slow the pace, and the 137 I think is just way too high here. I've got it more like 127, so I like this under quite a bit.
The under 137, I agree. I think this is a nice look. Under 137 at minus 110. Not a lot of action on this game so far, so we don't know what's going on with the totals. So there you go. These are the 4 looks from Nolly Knows making his college basketball debut on the show. Under 134 at minus 110 at East Tennessee State Buccaneers at App State. Under 128 at minus 110 in Abilene and Texas A&M. Now, he got better numbers there, but for record-keeping purposes and for the show, he's giving market, which is a tricky thing to do. Then we have San Diego State BYU. He's on the under 135.5 there. That's also on Matty Ice's card. And the under 137 at minus 110 in Stanford, Santa Clara. Then we have a couple other things. Our man, there's Razor Sharp picks in the house, just landed in Florida. Just wanted to pop in and show some love, taking Harper to Disney World. Very cool, Razor. Thank you for stopping by, my guy. We have so much love for you at Pub Sports Radio. Okay, so then we have our guy, Matty Ice. Matty Ice has his Taint play of the day. Taint play of the day is on Bryant University. They're plus 8.5 right now against Rhode Island. Taint is in. Taint is Bryant University. Taint! All right, so we got 4 unders given to us from Nolly Knows. We have the Taint play of the day on Bryant plus 9. Mike M is on Eastern Michigan moneyline. Kent State plus 9. Iowa State plus 2. Western Kentucky minus 2. He's at a 6-2 start to the season. Darryl Lyles on Nova plus 3.5. South Dakota State, Alabama over 163.5. That is our NCAA basketball coverage. And Maxwell Smart says, watch to see if Bryant has Peter Kiss and Chris Childs. Matty Ice says, I also think Bryant can win this game straight up. So that's coming in from Maxwell Smart as well. If you guys are looking for more college basketball action, 5 p.m. Eastern, we have Maxwell Smart and Connor Mack united at last with a great college basketball show. All right, we move on to college football. We got a couple beauties here, and we got just the man to break it down in Nolly Knows. We move on to 6 p.m. Eastern. We got a beauty here. Number 5 ranked Cincinnati Bearcats, 9-0, 5-0 in the American at South Florida Bulls, 2-7, 1-4 in the American. Very quickly, we got looks from Mr. Gokster in NHL. Calgary, Toronto, no goal first 9 minutes and 30 seconds at plus 105. And Philly first period at plus 144. I like that look, Philly first period. That's a wildly exciting game against Carolina that I've stayed off. I like both looks, but thank you for sharing that. Elliot V on the Hurricanes moneyline, Blackhawks moneyline parlay. Okay, back to the Bearcats and Florida Bulls. We're at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. 73 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 5 miles per hour. Let's get this moved over to NCAA football here. So Cincinnati coming in off a very underwhelming 28-20 home win over Tulsa as 22.5-point favorites. Tulsa outgained Cincinnati 457 to 380, won the time of possession by 9 minutes, and had 8 more first downs than a team that's trying to get and could get into the college football playoff. Crazy. South Florida comes in off a 54-42 home loss to Houston as 13.5-point favorites. Cincinnati opened up as 23.5-point favorites. They're now 24-point favorites. Let's move over to the total as well. Cash-wise here, we have over here, 6,405 tickets in. 64% of the tickets are on Cincinnati. 75% of the cash on Cincinnati, expecting a bounce-back spot from them. 57% of the tickets on the over and 59% of cash on the over. And this total has dropped a half point from 58.5 down to 58. Let's hear what Nolly Knows has to say about this spot. Cincinnati Bearcats, South Florida Bulls, take it away.
Yeah, Cincinnati here with Desmond Ridder was turned the ball over a little bit. Also, a couple fumbles there in that game. So 3 total turnovers in the last game, was able to keep Tulsa in the game. But not just that. The type of game plan that Tulsa deploys, the coach over there knows that he can't outscore Cincinnati, so you saw him running the clock. So is South Florida going to do the same thing here? Tough to see here, but Cincinnati, a team that's really slower in pace, they're 124th, running just 63 plays per game. Not a team that's really going to push the pace too much. And Desmond Ridder, they letting them go and fly it like they were earlier in the season. Not as much, guys surpassed like 9,000 yards passing and 2,000 yards rushing. I believe I read something like that. So a guy that does both, but not the greatest quarterback. You got to see their strength of schedule. So a team that likes to run a lot and really depend on their defense. This is a defensive-minded team, a team that ranks 5th in the nation in scoring defense, allowing just 15.9 points per game. They're 3rd in passing yards, 3rd in passing yard attempts at just 5.3 yards per attempt. And really, because then the college football, at least the guys that they played, unlike my guy Jimmy, they don't like the sauce. And I'm talking about Sauce Gardner. That's one of the top DBs in the nation, and teams are just avoiding him. The guy's legit, so he's taking off. And what that means, he's just taking away a part of the field. And so when you do that, the defense becomes a little bit more dangerous. Going against a South Florida team who, you look at last week, put up 42 points, 2 of those on 100-yard kick returns, which is pretty amazing. Cincinnati much better defensively and in the special team game. This is a team with South Florida that ranks 101st in passing yards per attempt, just 6.5. And a team really doesn't push too much pace. They run about 70 plays per game. So slower paced teams. And if you look at how these two teams match up, the last 2 games have stayed under the total and by quite a bit. And you look at Cincinnati, their last 3 games staying under the total by an average of 9.5 points per game. A team that going on the road may struggle a little bit initially offensively to get it going. And a team that's really looking to run the ball still a lot. They still run the ball good 33 times to up to almost 40 times at times. And I expect them to do the same thing, especially if they get a lead. You saw last year against this South Florida team when they led 14-0 at half, end up running the ball 45 times, throwing it just 26 times. So I think you see something similar in this game, and I'm looking to take the under in this game. I like the under 58.
I think this makes sense. I think this makes a lot of sense. First off, this Bearcats offense is, in the beginning of the year, it was only Notre Dame that had held them to like under 38 points, and now they're not putting up any points, and they're not beating teams by margin either. They beat Navy, Tulane, and Tulsa by a combined 34 points. Over the last 3 games, they haven't scored over 31 points. They're averaging 29.3 points per game. And South Florida feels good about themselves. First FBS win in over 2 years in that beatdown of Temple. they were competitive with Tulsa and BYU. I mean, I guess the biggest issue here, and I think it still works in your under, is first off, South Florida's defense was absolutely terrible, and it's been much better over the last 3 weeks. We're still getting a high 58.5 point total. Then you have South Florida giving up 5.8 yards per rushing attempt. That's the highest mark in the AAC. And you have a Cincinnati team that will continually hammer that. I mean, their running back Ford has 888 rushing yards and is third nationally with 15 touchdowns. I think that all kind of correlates with exactly what you're talking about. And South Florida gets 176 yards per game on the ground. So obviously we know that Cincinnati's defense is very, very strong, but there's going to be a ton of running the ball. So, in fact, I think there's Big Franco in the house. Big Franco. So Ninja 13 on the other side. He also laughed in my face when I said Dolphins are nothing yesterday. But I think that the Bearcats and the Bulls would be an under possibility, as well as possibly South Florida covering. What do you think of South Florida covering this big number? Or do you think this is a spot where do you think that you should stay off of that because the Bearcats looked so bad last week, it could be just smash and grab this week?
I mean, yeah, if you look at that perspective, just going on the road and during the week can be tougher for a lot of these youngsters, but just those sides just tough with that 23. I think if I'm leaning towards the under, obviously I think that correlates to taking the points. I believe UCF will do enough to slow it down a little bit, but I can't trust that team. If you tell me it's a 28-0 final, I wouldn't be surprised, but Cincinnati defense is legit.
Nathan Cerna on Cincy 37-13 final score. Well, this might take a little bit more time for study, but we have the under 58.5 here. And Kevin Riley saying that South Florida is a winning bet. We have the under 58.5 available at Pinnacle. I'm going to double check the Pinnacle book because I got it up right now because my odds aren't refreshing right now. What's Cab saying? Cab saying, South Carolina money line tomorrow. Ken Peacock says the Friday night lights in Cincinnati needs to show out for the rankings. Worry me slightly. I agree. I think that might be enough to actually take me off of USF here. Big Franco said it's something about these Friday night games with the road favorite barely covering. Ron Crawford said Cincinnati no playlist, but figure maybe they may cover after 4 weeks of not covering. Well, let's lock in the under. I'm going to line shop for you here and get you the best line on the under. Let's move on to the next NCAA football card game on the card. This one pops off at 9 p.m. Eastern, and it brings us to the second spreadsheet play of the day from our Ron Crawford. Ron Crawford is on Wyoming plus 14. Here we go. Wyoming Cowboys 5-4, 1-4 in the Mountain West at Boise State. Broncos 5-4, 3-2 in the Mountain West. Albertson Stadium in Boise, Ohio, 53 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 3 miles per hour. We have Wyoming coming in after finally snapping their 4-game losing streak with a 31-17, an impressive 31-17 win over Colorado State at home as 3-point dogs. And the curb stomp play of the day is here as well. Curb stomp play of the day is on the under 48.5 here in this spot. Let me copy and paste that right here with the Ron Crawford thing. All right, got it there. We go. Boise State coming off their second straight home win, an extremely impressive 40-14. Oh, sorry, second straight win, I should say. An extremely impressive 40-14 triumph at Fresno State as 4 p.m. 4-point dogs, excuse me. Dav Fenn says Boise kicks the crap out of Wyoming tonight. Nathan Cerna says sharp line has Boise 30-13. Right now, you can get Boise as 14-point favorites at plus 101 at Pinnacle with that total at 48.5. By the way, the under for our Nolly is at 58.5 at minus 105. Under 58.5 at minus 105 at Pinnacle. And we move on to Wyoming, Boise State. Why don't we see what our guy Nolly Knows thinks of this spot? Take it away. Mountain West battle, Wyoming, Boise.
Yeah, big game. You mentioned Boise State coming off 2 back-to-back victories. And the big reason you see, even though the last 4 games have been defense, you look at the total perspective for me. If you look at the last 4 games, stayed under the total by an average of 9.4 games. And they've actually hit the under 6 of the last 7 games. So you know where I'm leaning here already. Boise State, a team that's faced some much tougher opponents than Wyoming, but these two teams are not unfamiliar at all. A team that plays each other just about every year. If you look at the previous matchups, have stayed under the total by quite a bit. Last 2 matchups under the total by average of 21 points, and have stayed under the last 6 matchups in Boise. 9 of the last 13 matchups have stayed under the total. This is what I like to see here. And the big thing for Wyoming is their fact that they can't pass the ball. They're 113th in the nation with passing yards per attempt. They changed their quarterback, going with the more mobile quarterback, but he's yet to eclipse the 6 yards per attempt average. So the guy that just – the team is very basic, a team that's going to look to run the ball a lot. They ran the ball almost 50 times last week, a team that averages rushing the ball 42 times. That's what they're going to look to do, look to run the clock, take control of the time of possession here against Boise State, because I don't think that they can outscore Boise. Boise has done pretty well through the air, but Wyoming only giving up 155.7 yards through the air on average. So I think they'll be able to negate some of that and slow that offense down. Wyoming is not as bad as you might think, and I've seen some surprising games throughout the season with them, but here in this spot, I think the defense steps up against Boise. And to touch a little bit on the play from Ron Crawford, you look at Boise unable to really cover the number at home, 1-3 against the spread at home, losing 2 of those outright. So tough for me to be sitting here trying to lay the points. But again, the only way I'm going to look is under the total, under 48.5 again.
Wyoming coming off 385 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
And Boise State's offense always been, Bachmeier and what he can do. But last game, they got 117 yards on 21 carries from George Holani. So I can understand why you were on this under. By the way, market-wise here, it's very tight for both the spread and the total. You have 52% of the tickets on Wyoming and 54% of the cash. Then you have 46% of the tickets on the under and 54% of the cash on the under. I can see why you have interest in this under. And I find Wyoming so difficult to figure out. Ever since they went to Connecticut and looked awful, I was just like, I don't know what you're going to get week in, week out from these guys. But we do know that this is at the most important time of the year. But they're tricky.
I mean, even when they went to Northern Illinois, they put up 50 points with a 93-point total with NIU. It's like, that was shocking to me as well. But this is just a different type of game, and I feel like they're going to want to try to get up against Boise. It'll be a lot more effort, and I love effort when you talk about defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have this, offensive line with Wyoming that's so strong that, allows them to run and run and run and run, which keeps the clock moving and moving and moving. Clark Townsend saying that Boise gives up 172 yards a game on the ground. It seems like this could be an Achilles heel. And
it is, but you got to understand, when you got a team that's a little bit more one-dimensional, it changes things a bit. Like Lamar Jackson last night.
You're right. You're right.
It makes it a lot more difficult for that quarterback.
Because we saw what they did to Haener. I mean, they made Haener look from 1 week like a top pick in the NFL draft to somebody who would go undrafted.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very interesting. I get it. The under here at Pinnacle, the under 48.5 is at minus 105. And it correlates with Mike M's curb stomp play today. So Nolly moving on the under 48.5 at minus 105. For these two spots in college football, I want to take a little time. I'm not going to make anything official yet, but it would not surprise me if I'm rolling right with you on both of these spots. And I can't take South Florida here just because Cincinnati did not look good last week. And even though South Florida has been improving, I just and Kevin Riley trying to get me on it, and I get it.
That's tough.
But just because of that, because the opposite's here with Wyoming. You have Boise State looking like, Boise State still having a chance in the Mountain West after that huge win and feeling good about themselves. And Wyoming kind of changing the structure of their season with that 31-17 win. I mean, it was shocking to watch them lose 4 straight. Kev Riley says, why? Cash it, Jimmy. I just told you why, Kevin. Look, you're white hot right now. You're killing it. You're absolutely, and I'm watching you destroy, Kev. But the Cincinnati has to show something, and they have to do it here, now, tonight, with all eyes on them. That's what scares me. Look, I'm not going to take the other side. I'm not saying I'm going to, fade your thought here. But I just don't know if I can jump on. Absolutely great stuff from our Nolly Knows. Nolly, I know that CFL is next on the radar. You do not have to stick around for that. You don't have to.
I thought I'd like to retire. I hit 3-0 this year. So you gotta retire on top. Gotta go off in the sunset.
Yeah, we've had a great year. We haven't had a lot of action in CFL, but you're 3-0 and I'm 15-9. So it's been nice. Nolly, thank you so much for joining us. We miss you. We're going to get you more often. I know that when baseball season, we're kind of restructuring everything, but we're going to get you on. I'd like to have you on weekly again, so I'm going to figure out how to make that work. But thank you for taking the time to share your analysis and the hard work with us. We love capping with you. Any last words for these great cappers supporting the show?
I just want to say thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. Just trying to share as much insight as I can. And if you don't like betting unders, I get it. Everybody fucks different.
he just goes on that line. Oh wow, Jose on the ones and twos, just pulling him on. Everybody fucks different. He does. He knows that's a big line to close on. Follow our man at Nolly Knows. Follow our man at Nolly Knows. At Nolly Knows on Twitter. Everybody fucks different and gone. My AI says mic drop. All right, let's go into CFL. Last week we gave out the over 44 in the Lions Tiger-Cats game, and it landed on 44. So we still have our 6-game winning streak intact. Let's get to work right now. We start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, about a 5-minute walk from my apartment. If you get past the pigeons banging all over the playground and keep walking right in that direction, you will get to BMO Field in Toronto, Ontario. And it's beautiful weather right now, but it's supposed to change. 51 Fahrenheit, showers, 15 miles per hour. There's Robert Cherry in the house. And this is a huge game. So this is only a 14-game season this year. So we have 18-game seasons in the CFL. This is only a 14-game season, 16 weeks, 14 games. And the Tiger-Cats 7-5, 3-3 on the road, and the Argos 8-4, 5-0 at home. Dennis Garcia says Hamilton is the only play you need, and I agree with that. And let's see if the market has continued to move over to. Let's just get over here. Let's see if the market has continued to move over to Hamilton. McLeod, Bethel Thompson coming off his worst game of the year, or at least his worst game since he got back to starting. And we had the Argos opening up at +1, and it's now a pick'em. It says that Pinnacle still has -1 for. I'd have to check if Pinnacle is still holding this in. It says BetMGM now has the Tiger-Cats at -3. Wow, let's see what Bet365 has. So huge money coming in on the Tiger-Cats. I'm not going to be that late to the party because I had trepidation. Yes, it's -3 right now for the Tiger-Cats at -115. Holy shit. Wow. So an enormous move to the Tiger-Cats. Let's discuss why that is. So the Argos haven't won the division since 2017. They're coming off an ugly 23-20 win at lowly Ottawa last week. They were down 29 midway through the third quarter. The big issue for the Argos was that they lost John White. He got hurt in the game against Ottawa. 450 yards, carried the ball 92 times. AJ Ouellette came in. He had 6 carries under his belt this year. He ran 14 times for 107 yards. DJ Foster is expected to be the RB1. So DJ Foster is supposed to get most of the snaps, and he's a dual threat. He has 2 touchdowns, 285 yards rushing on 64 carries on the ground, and then he's got 295 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns, 30 receptions through the air. Hamilton coming in off a 26-18 home win over the Lions. Masoli's just rolling right now. He looks as good as he's ever looked. 19-26 for 258 yards and a touchdown. And he hasn't thrown an interception since week 2. So there's some interesting stats here that I want to talk about. One is the Tiger-Cats have allowed 21 first-quarter points all year. So the Tiger-Cats allow an average of 1.75 points in the first quarter. The Argos have only allowed 2 first-quarter touchdowns all season. The Tiger-Cats overall are allowing just 17.5 points per game. That's the second fewest points allowed by anybody in the league. And their secondary is elite. 14 interceptions, 56 passes deflected. They look very good. So what would that lead you to want to do? So first off, the -3 is gone, and I'm going to let it go. At some point, if there's a 3.5 on the board, or even at 3, you probably want to take the other side now. When do you want to take the Argos? Because the Argos are going to keep this close. This isn't going to be a beating. And this total is at 45. This total opened up at, sorry, let me pull this up here quickly. This total opened up at 45. So there has been like a 10-cent move towards the under. But it would be the first half under. But I was looking at the first half under yesterday, and the first half under is at 21.5. So they know it's going to be low scoring. 21.5 is a dangerous number to try to get under. And the first quarter total is at 9, under 9. So a touchdown and a field goal screws it. But if you look at what these teams are doing, you'd want that first quarter under. Dennis Garcia says, don't take Toronto unless it reaches 4.5. There's a class difference here. So I can't take Hamilton now. And for all of those that did at the -1 or at a pick'em, excellent work. But I had enough trepidation not to move on it then. So at this point, it feels like that first quarter under, judging by what these two teams have done in the first quarter, has got to be the play. The question is, are you comfortable making a bet where if there's a touchdown and a field goal, you lose? So, Mr. Gokter says, going to go see Corey Schneider in Belly tomorrow. I actually had drinks with Corey Schneider a bunch of times. He's a great guy. Vodka sodas only for Corey Schneider. If you get a chance to buy him a drink, Mr. Gokter. So, first quarter under, after all this, I think has to be on the card. You have two teams. This is a hugely important game. They're going to play conservative. You have John White out of the lineup, so you're going to see a lot of AJ Ouellette. You're going to see mixed backs. And these teams just aren't allowing any points in the first quarter. So, and I missed the boat on Hamilton. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. Calgary Stampeders at BC Lions. Calgary Stampeders at BC Lions. This total is sitting at 46.5, and it opened at 46. And I agree with this market move towards the over. Mr. Goes just sounds like a dirty water kind of guy. Yeah, he is. He is. BC plays Vancouver, British Columbia. Calgary coming in off their bye week. And I didn't want to sit here with two road favorites that are under a field goal. And it's not because of these two football teams. It's just because of my ROI in that situation is bad. Viper NB, much love to you, my guy. Thank you for listening while you are at work, my friend. So Calgary was last seen in a 26-13 win at Ottawa on October 29th. They've won 4 of 5. Bo Levi Mitchell is rolling. He was hurt in the beginning of the year, and he didn't look very good when he first got back, but now he's playing very well. He went 22 of 29 for 242 yards. The Lions coming off their 6th straight loss, 26-18 at Hamilton last Friday. They were down 15-3 at the half. They can still make the playoffs. They can still get the crossover. There's only 9 teams in the league, and 8 teams get into the playoffs. So they can still get the crossover in this spot. Sorry, very quickly. Looks like we have a say a play in the house. Is it for Dennis Garcia says, what is the Toronto team total under? Says Toronto is not getting to 20 points in this game. So the Toronto team total is at 20.5. And it's juiced to minus 120 each way. They mess with you. Jose, is your say a play on the Stamps Lions or the Ticats Argos? Ticats Argos. All right, let's bring in Jose. He's got a say a play of the day in Ticats Argos. Take it away. What's the say a play of the day, my friend?
First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that I did, in fact, change it, Jim. You have to say it correctly, please.
The say a play of the day from our Jose. Let's do it.
So I don't know if you know this, Jim, but I have a rivalry with Ian Cameron. And by rivalry, I mean I just made this up in my head about 20 minutes ago. And by 20 minutes ago, I mean 5 minutes ago. I'm very anti Hamilton Tiger-Cats. Why? I don't know. So I'm taking Toronto. It's big fuck you, Ian Cameron energy here. I'll take the +3. We'll keep steaming it up if we got to. We'll take the +3. I believe in Toronto. Can I name anyone on their team? No, but I can name one Hamilton Tiger-Cats fan, and that's Ian Cameron. And I want the smoke, Ian. Your Tiger-Cats are going down.
I think the analysis was not at the level that we're hoping for on this show. But he's a winning capper. And winning cappers can do whatever the fuck they please. +3 at -105 for Jose. I'd be curious to see what Pinnacle has done with this. If I could find it out of one of these many, many teams that I got up here. I'm going to see what they have up here. Let's see. Get over to CFL. Are they even going to let us bet CFL? There. Wow. +3 at -112 at Pinnacle. So you're getting a better number there. Interesting. Dennis Garcia is happy about this. He's happy that he's going heads up with you, Jose. He's at peace now. And Mr. Gokster says Hamilton's got to be the play right now. Vale Gotti in the house. Thank you for joining us. And Ken Peacock says, how dare you fade Babano? There's talk about a steak dinner situation here, Jose. Down 3 steak dinners already. Let's see if he's got the balls to make this a steak dinner.
Zero balls. 0 balls. Not even one.
Guy's down 3 steak dinners right now. Okay, so let's get back to the Stamps Leos game. So the Lions coming in off their 6th straight loss, 26-18 at Hamilton last Friday. The fact that they put 18 points up is not a terrible sign. Hamilton's defense is so strong, and the Lions' offense right now is kind of all about Lucky Whitehead, who was injured for most of this losing streak. And if you can put up 18 points at Hamilton, you can certainly put up more than 20 points at home against the Stamps. The Stamps have won 9 of the last 11 meetings between the two. But in week 2, the Lions beat up on Calgary. Well, they intercepted Bo Levi Mitchell 4 times, so they only won 15-9. But then the Stamps destroyed the Lions 39-10 in week 11. Now, that was without Lucky Whitehead. Another thing here is that Reggie Begelton is back. He spent some time with the Packers. He's back, and he was a nomination for most outstanding player for the Stamps. He's an all-star, and he's now back, and that's pumped up this team so much. God, can we get spammers? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jose. So in saying all that, I think that the over is in play here. I think points are going to be scored. Now, I'm on a 6-game winning streak, and I don't want to get too cute here. I feel like I'm getting pretty cute with a first quarter under in Hamilton, Toronto, and then the Stamps Lions over. But that's what I'm going to do. I've talked it out, and that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be on the over 46.5 in Stamps Lions, and I'm going to be on the first quarter under in Hamilton, Toronto. And that is my CFL action, which then puts a bow on the show, but not before we announce the movie for our Jose Bouquet to make him a better person. So we've given him 3 movies so far. He's a young man. So we've given him Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. We've given him Slapshot, and we've given him Casino. This weekend's movie for him and his beautiful girlfriend, Helga, is The Three Amigos. The Three Amigos. And I am certain that this movie will make you more of a man.
Will it?
More of a man. Yeah, it'll make you just so much more fun to be around. It's going to add things into your life. Jokes, gags, things that you will pull out all the time that you didn't have before. So this is right. This is perfect. This is exactly what we're trying to do here with the making Jose more of a man. So the Three Amigos. What the hell's going on? Okay.
I just remembered. Oh,
Jesus. What the hell? Oh, God. All right. Oh, Jesus.
Suzanne. Ooh, that was a good one. Oh, man. Sorry.
It's okay, buddy.
I haven't had one drink of alcohol. That's funny. Suzanne sucks pussy. That's what I just remembered.
See, I told you. You're becoming more of a man right now. Now you got Suzanne sucks pussy in your head. I mean, come on. It's happening.
It's a good one. Yeah.
I'm watching it happen in front of my very eyes.
Yeah, look at these tears. These are real tears coming out of my eyes right now, too. Yeah, so I'm excited. I know, first of all, here's the thing. I looked at the movie posters. That's the first time I looked at anything Three Amigos. Martin Sheen, I think.
No. Martin Sheen.
No? Okay. Steve Martin. I know that. Hold on. Hold on.
What is this? Are we gonna talk about the sexual assault of a young Natalie Wood now?
I don't know. I guess I don't know who that is either.
You don't know who Martin Sheen is. I think that's the problem.
I guess I don't. Steve Martin. The guy. Oh fuck! I don't know the middle guy's name anymore. He's Chevy Chase, I think. Actually.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm smart. And then the third one is the guy who is like butt buddies with Steve Martin, and he does all the things like together with him, and he does all the I don't know his name, unfortunately. I think his name was a Martin, but I thought he was Martin Sheen, unfortunately. So there's my knowledge of the movie.
Martin Short. Yeah.
There I was close. No, but this should be a good movie. I'm genuinely excited to see how many Hispanic Mexican jokes are in this, just because it's called Three Amigos. And I think we might have to do this on Tuesday, just because Pete's in this lovely picture we have.
Yes, I think that would be good. Yes, and I think coming from a Venezuelan, that you'll enjoy 3 white guys making fun of the. Respecting the Mexican heritage.
Oh, okay. I'll be fun. You know, I'll like it. It'll be a good time. And, you know, it's nothing I haven't seen, and I'll be very excited for it.
Well, I legitimately, no word of a lie, had this movie playing with the sound off on a loop for 2 years.
Sure.
For 2 years in my apartment with my roommate Rob Pugh. We had this just
Shout out to
on.
Rob.
It was on 24 hours a day. And yeah.
We should have Rob on the show. I'd love to have Rob on the show just to hear stories about you just living with you. What is that like?
I'm talking about Rob Pugh, not Rob Bebenek. This is a different Rob.
I know.
Okay, this is all.
I have no idea who this person is. This person could be an accountant for all I know, but he'd be a great host or guest on the show.
He's a great stand-up comic. Rob Pugh, aka Bobby Pantload, is his nickname. Yeah,
that's a good name. That's a good name. Shout out to Mr. Pussy Coffee, by the way. I haven't seen him in a while.
All right. So the Three Amigos review will be coming in on Tuesday. Billy Frieder sit on the veranda. It's you're a lucky man that you're going to have this experience for the first time in your life. Also, Helga's going to love it.
Yeah, she's right in front of me. Actually, I showed her the movie. I didn't even show her the movie poster. I showed her the one that I made, and she just cackled and laughed at me singing on the movie poster. She had a good time on laughing.
Oh, you guys, it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful night. I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. So that is the movie for our man, Jose Bouquet, the Three Amigos. And I think you're going to love it.
Did you have a tough time deciding about like what movie to pick this week?
No, I found it very easy. I want you to watch Three Amigos. It's going to make you a better man. It's going to make you a funnier man. It's going to make you more enjoyable to be around. This movie is going to do everything that we want to do with this job we have of making you more of a complete person.
Well, I just wanted to have a reason to play.
I can't get my mouth around that thing. Oh.
Okay, all right, let's get back to work. Let's review action here today on the show. We start with NHL. I'm on the over 6 at -110 in Edmonton, Buffalo. I'm on the Leafs -1 at -108. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day is on Carolina. I'm off that game. We did hear that Mr. Gokes on Flyers first period at +144. I'm on the Blue Jackets at +115 and the under 5.5 at -105. I thought we had a Jose Sehe play today on pucks, but no, it was Spurs. Okay, so there it is. Those are the four bets that I've made in NHL, and there's no addition at this point. I'm not adding anything, so that's it. So that's a nice thing. No additions here for me in NHL. Then we get into NBA. Darryl's on the under 225 at -117 in Knicks Hornets. He's on the Celtics money line at +105. Nothing in Pistons Cavs. Nothing in Portland, Houston, although I'm gonna mess around with that game. Dan Kelly's on the Suns first quarter at -115, and I like that look. Darryl's on the Nets -9 at -104. I'm on the Kings first half. I'm going to move on them first quarter as soon as the show's over. Jose's first say hey play of the day is on the Spurs +3. Jose's on the Spurs +3 and the Argos +3. Then Hawks, Nuggets, no move. Darryl's on the Bulls +5.5, which I like, much to the chagrin of a Dennis Garcia. Community of Knowledge wants Enemy Mines. So let me just copy and paste that. We are going to go over more movie picks for us on Tuesday. I will copy and paste that. And then Darryl was very close to moving on the Lakers, yet he did not at this point. All right, let's move on to NCAA basketball. The taint play of the day is Bryant +9.5. Mike M is on Eastern Michigan money line. Kent State +9. Iowa State +2. Western Kentucky -2. He's 6-2 on the year. Nolly Knows is on the under 134 in East Tennessee State. App State. He's on the under 128 in Abilene Christian Texas A&M. He's on the under 135.5 in San Diego State Aztecs BYU Cougars. And that is also on Matty Ice's card, and he's on the under 137 in Stanford, Santa Clara. Darryl Lyles is on Nova +3.5 and the South Dakota State, Alabama over. Dennis Garcia, that game's on right now. Then Nolly's on the under 58.5 in Cincinnati, South Florida. I like that look. And he's also on the under 48.5 in Wyoming, Boise State. I'm going to be on the first quarter under in Hamilton, Toronto. Jose's on the Argonauts +3. And I'm going to be on the over 46.5 in Calgary, BC Lions. There you have it. We fought the good fight. We're 2 hours, 49 minutes in. I need rest. I need rest, and I need to hydrate. And I'm so thankful to have this opportunity to do the show with you guys. Everybody in the chat, thank you. Thank you. Pro Buddies Nerfic, Jimmy Gomez, the community of new knowledge, Billy Friedrich, Dav Fenn, Pro Buddies Nerfic, Ken Peacock, Doug Reed, Fat Wally says, is Cam back in Carolina? Says Doug Reed. Yes, he is. Mr. Gogster, Slatsy, Nolly Knows, our guest. All you guys, thank you so much for your support. Dennis Garcia, Vale Gotti, Kev Riley, T-Mac. Thank you guys so much. Dab Fan, Cab, Matty Ice, Nathan Cerna. Let's have ourselves a day. Mike Butler, Jimmy Gomez, Clint, star of the Die Hard MMA podcast, Astute Chaos.
Tricky name to spell.
I need rest.
Can I ask you a question before you go get your rest?
Sure. I can't get rest anyways right now. It's not going to happen, so I'm going to have to go through the day like this.
Well, yeah, you have to make your bets and stuff, you know. You need sweaty palms.
More than that, but keep going.
Whatever. Yeah, you're an adult. I've always been curious. Now, I this is going to come off as weird now, and I'm not excited to say this. I've always been curious. Though there's a window, you know, the window that the pigeons, the widgeons, as I'll call them now, the window pigeons. What is outside your window? I've always been curious now to look outside of your window now, Jim. So.
Oh, it's just fucking gross. I gotta get someone to clean this shit up. It's just fucking pigeon shit, pigeon semen all over the place. It's just oh god.
Can you send me a picture of the pigeon semen, and then can you perhaps get like an angle so then I can see the stadium that is also like 2
it's right
feet away
in the,
from
just
house?
Past the semen, and the pigeons are good enough to leave a little bit of blood in the semen just to gross us out. And not only that, but the semen glows in the dark. So it's so many people don't know about pigeon semen.
I did not know that. Please, I would love to hear more about all this stuff. But yes, I've just been very curious.
You're not allowed to, like the kids aren't allowed out on the balcony. No one's allowed. We got to pay somebody to come in and clean this shit up. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. It makes me so angry. It's awful. It's awful.
Okay, well, please send me a picture. And by the way, Make America Great Again. Make America Great Again just reminded me UTSA. No UTSA bet this week. They're like 30-point favorites against Southern Miss. So, no.
Clint says, let Jimmy take a nap. There's no nap in sight. Ella's going to be out of school soon. I got to get bets in.
And you have to take the edibles so that you can be high amongst the other parents without being judged.
Exactly. You know my schedule.
Yeah, Jim, okay. I know you like the back of my hand and other things. So,
many blessings to you, my friend. And
your
complacency causes said Toronto pigeons are toxic. Be careful. Yeah, it's fucking me up.
That's why the semen is glow in the dark. Exactly. I'm glad we can all come around on this.
A little bit of blood, though. A little bit of blood. Just to keep it sharp.
Yeah, you know.
Don't ask. Don't ask. All right. On behalf of all of us here at Pub Sports Radio, thank you guys for rolling with us. Jose, thank you for fighting the good fight on the ones and twos. And we can't do it without you guys in the chat. So let's have ourselves a giant Friday and a huge weekend. We will see you next on Sunday morning, baby, for NFL Pub Hub. Get the fucking cash, baby. Leche. Halos Bookmakers!